Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead, take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to be talking a little bit about something that I'm doing for the people, y'all. I'm doing it for the people. If you don't know, y'all, a lot of content I do that's for the people, because I don't even want to do this myself. But here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. Today we're gonna do 42 and cooked. Okay, 42 and cooked. But it is in defense, y'all. It is in defense of Dr. Bryant and other older women, y'all. Okay, it's in defense of Dr. Bryant and older women, y'all. 42 and cooked. All right. Now, y'all got to excuse me for laughing, but yeah, this stuff like this shouldn't have to happen. But unfortunately, it does. So we're going to get into 42 and cooked in defense of Dr. Bryant and older women. All right. Now, before we go too far into this, y'all, let me just go and get this out the way. I got to say shout out to the people who give me that extra layer of support. We got great people who come through. They put $1 or $2 down. Okay, some put a lot of dollars down at one time. Everybody's appreciated at the end of the day, because big or small, I do appreciate it all. And I got to say shout out to my main man, y'all, J Bones is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to J Bones. Appreciate you big time, my brother. Appreciate you big time. I know he stays in the clouds. He comments here or there, but he usually stays in the cloud. But he's always been a great supporter. So shout out to J Bones. Appreciate you big time, my brother. Appreciate you big time. All right. And let me give some shout outs to some of the first people to check in, because when you start the show, it's always good to see you got a person or two dipping in, checking in, letting you know they're there. But y'all know how it goes. Over here at the Roger Report Live, there can only be one. So shout out to I'm Listening, who is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, brother. Yes, there can only be one, y'all. And why you haven't been the Highlander of a stream, I got a lot of questions on that. Y'all, you got to make sure at some point you become Highlander of the stream. You should be doing that multiple times. But if you ain't did it the first time, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? Okay, but shout out to I'm Listening. Glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you. Shout out to my main man, Gold P is in the building. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. We got Sarah B in the house. Hey, Sarah. How you doing? Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. J Dub is in the building. The deputy on the grill is here. Shout out to the pit crew as he represents. Good to have you here, my brother. Shout out to the righteous teacher. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Glad to see you. Floyd Thompson is checking in. What's going on, Floyd? Yay, yay. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Afro Merchant is in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good? Our sponsor of yesterday's show, J Bay, is in the building. Great to see you, my brother. Great to see you. And shout out to everybody as folks are coming in. But let's get into it, y'all. A case for women over 40. But y'all, this is 42 and Cook, man. In defense of Dr. Bryant and older women, okay? Now, y'all, there's a lot of things that happen. And if you pay attention to the things that happen, and I know I've lost multiple channels at this point, hopefully that will not happen again. Okay. But I've taught a lot of great lessons, and I've reminded y'all of some of those lessons already, just as I've done these first few shows on this particular channel. Okay. What I say, you're gonna be able to see it, y'all. Okay. What I say, you will be able to see it. It comes up. A lot of people like to act like I'm just talking out of nowhere, but the stuff comes up. It's all over the place, really. If you pay attention, it's all over the place. So it's not hard for people to do stuff that just highlights the things that I've been saying. So now we got a case of 42 and Cook. Okay. Now, y'all, I watched a large chunk. Now, of course, I put a link in the description where you have part of this little piece that was kind of going viral, I guess. Maybe people say that's viral, but it's been getting around. Paul Pierce, shout out to the truth. He asked a few questions about this woman, and I don't know what it is, but people thought it was a mystery or something. But you know what? It came out all at one time. Now, I tell you, I mean, he didn't figure out nothing I ain't already basically told you. I mean, well, I can't even say that. He didn't prompt her to say anything that I pretty much didn't already tell you. I told y'all when I don't know why people try to make certain folks famous, but it is what it is. They do what they want to do. I don't get into all that. But this woman went on Nick Cannon's show, got some pub about how she was going at Nick Cannon. Also did the same thing with Cam Newton. She was going at Cam Newton, got some pub about that, And I get it. People want to earn money, so I ain't even tripping about it. She done dropped a lot of names and things like that. She's trying to earn money. Now, the thing is, as she say, she 42. Okay. Now, when she went on Nick Cannon shows and she went on Cam Newton's show, she was already in her 40s. All right. Now, this is the thing. People start putting some level of stock into her and the stuff she was saying. And I get it. And y'all have a choice to do whatever y'all want to do at the end of the day. Look, I don't tell nobody, don't listen to this person, don't listen to that person. People can present what they want. It's what you do with the information that counts. Okay, it's what you do with the information that counts. You know, plus, my thing is, I ain't just finna drag the lady for the sake of dragging the lady. No. In her defense, y'all, let's be real about this. Dr. Bryant at no point said that she was married. Okay, at no point did she ever say that I'm married. Okay. She has let it be known that she's an old lady. Now, if you don't know what an old lady is, y'all, that's a woman that's 30 and above. All right. She hasn't hid that from anybody. She is old, and she told you she was old. Okay. She is unmarried, and she told you she was unmarried. Now, what have I told y'all over here at the Roger Report Live? One thing that you don't really have to check credentials on is a woman in America. And I just throw that out there because I know it can be something different in other places, even though there's a lot of places similar in these regards to America. And shout out to all my people listening from around the world. If you make it to 30 years old and you're not married, you don't have to check on anything. You know she's a loser. Okay. You know she's a loser. And shout out to I'm listening. Okay. I'm listening says UOF. Exactly. Now there may be some newer people around that ain't seen some of the other broadcasts that were done. So I'm listening says UOF. You may think he's wrong because you may be thinking UFO. No. He's saying it exactly right. See, a UFO, an unidentified flying object, is a very rare sighting. You don't really see UFOs. At some point in time, you may actually see something in the sky, and you might not be able to identify it. Maybe you get a picture or a video, and no one else around you can identify it. To you, that is a UFO. You saw something flying, and you couldn't identify it at all. But the UOF is easy to see. You just walk outside for a lot of folks, and you run right into them. That is the unwanted old feminist. There's plenty of them. Okay, it is plenty of unwanted old feminists. Now, those are sisters who are 36 years old and up. It's over with. Okay, they are unwanted old. I don't have to ask no question about what their situation is. I know what their situation is. Now, for the love of my people, y'all, and because I try to do a great job, okay, I listened to those interviews. Okay. Now, I didn't finish up this particular interview. I listened to a good chunk of this one, you know, because I like to know what I'm talking about. I really do. All right. And so I started listening to her, you know, found out Paul Pierce got a podcast, you know, so I listened to the podcast that it actually came from. I know sometimes people like to listen to other folks' narratives about stuff. No, I actually listened to the thing where it came from. And that's fine. Now, if I can't find it, then I'm subject to whatever I can find on something. But no, I found this one, and hey, I started listening to it. Okay. Now, this is the thing. Dr. Bryant told the truth about her age, at least as far as we know. Okay. I don't assume she's lying. All right. I don't assume she's lying at all. She's 42 years old, and she's a self-admitted old lady. I don't look at Dr. Bryant and say she couldn't be 42. I would tell you that. That is not what I do. I don't look at her and say she couldn't be 42. No. I very much believe she definitely could be 42. I ain't got no questions about that. Now, this is the thing, y'all. I don't like to rag on people. Real talk. I don't like to rag on people personally. You know, there is some stuff that I know she done kind of put herself out there to receive certain criticisms I'll just say that. But I'm going to say, man, we got to keep it real. She told us she was an old lady from Jump Street. Okay? She told us she was an old lady from Jump Street. She never said I was young. Okay? She didn't come into what people would say this space or this arena, or come to, a certain section of social media and claim she was young. She said she was old from jump. Now, this is the thing. I've heard some stuff and I've heard some rumors and things like that. Some people, I've heard that she is a doctor, and it came up in question because, and I'm just saying what I heard. I don't know if this is true or not. Don't actually make a difference to me. She, based on what I heard, she supposedly has a doctorate from some university or school that no longer exists, like the school went out of business. So therefore people questioned it. I mean, that could be true. That may not be true. Maybe she is lying. Maybe, if you ain't got no degree and you want people to believe you got a degree, I guess you would use a school that came out of business, that's no longer in business, to say you earned that degree. Now, is that an accredited institution, or was it an accredited institution when the degree was supposedly obtained? Could have been, could not have been. Now, my thing is this, y'all. Do I care? Now, truth be told, I really don't. Okay. Now, this is the thing. You should be honest about whether you have a degree. If you're going to present that, you should be honest about it. I personally don't care because it doesn't change anything in what she's known in this quote unquote space we're talking about. Having a degree doesn't change anything in this space. Okay. I'm not saying having a degree is bad. Okay. Not saying that at all. If you got your bachelor's, shout out to you. Heck, you got your associates, shout out to you. If you got your master's, shout out to you. If you got your PhD, especially shout out to you. But there are things going on in this space that honestly academics cannot control for. Now, there are good that people take some numbers so you can have a better idea of what's going on. But there are things that academics just can't control for. So that's why I'm saying, to me, it doesn't make a difference whether she has a degree or not. See, I don't care what type of degree you have. If what you say makes sense, it's going to make sense. It'll make sense with your degree. It'll make sense without your degree. If you need your degree to quote unquote make it make sense, that means you're talking nonsense. You don't need to tell me about your degree if what you're saying is going to make sense. Okay? And I'm just keeping it real. Do I respect the hard work it takes for people to obtain a degree? Absolutely. But if you're going to say some stuff, I should be able to make some sense of the stuff you say. Now, what did I see her doing? Same thing I told she did last time. When I watched those 2 interviews that I really didn't want to watch, but because I want to be credible in things that I say, I watched them anyway. Talking about the one with Nick Cannon and Cam Newton. I didn't quote unquote technically finish this. I still got a little taste more to go. But I started watching this interview too. Why? So I can be credible in what I say. If you've known me for a while, y'all know I try to do the best I can to stop false narratives. Am I a perfect person? No. But y'all know I try to stop false narratives. And this is the thing. I understand that for a few days now, a lot of people have been covering this lady and Paul Pierce and these comments that were made. Have I looked into it heavy? Not really, because I don't care about her like that. I really don't. But I got to do stuff for the people at the end of the day. So I sat here and started watching this interview too. Knew I wasn't going to do it, but I did it anyway. Okay, yeah, and I paid attention and all that. Okay. So what did I see her doing? She was doing the exact same thing that I told y'all she did the first time. She would say some intelligent things and sandwiched in between nonsense. She was doing the same thing. But in defense of her, she did come out from Jump Street and say, hey, y'all, I'm old. Okay? I'm old. She wasn't even old at, she didn't come out as a 30-year-old woman like, hey, I'm old. And if y'all don't know, over here at the Roger Report Live, see, a woman who's 30 is just old from a biological standpoint. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying men are old at that age, but things do actually work different for men and women. Now, I know we're in a society where they try to tell y'all everybody's the same. And she does push some type of mindset where people are the same to a certain degree, but she does heavily try to dog down men, and she try to blame men for stuff women do. And that happened in this particular case too. She was doing it here. Okay. But my thing is, y'all, she told y'all she was old from Jump Street. She said it from Jump Street, y'all. I'm old. Okay. I'm in my 40s. I never heard her say anything about that she was younger. So now, as an old woman who failed to get married, okay? Now, I'm trying to be realistic about this, y'all. As an old woman who failed to get married. Now, I already told y'all what it is. She 30 years old, never married. You're a loser. I don't have to figure nothing else about you. Okay? I ain't got to figure out nothing. If a woman can make it to 30 years old and never get married, I know she's a loser. There's nothing for me to check out. I don't need to know her story. I don't need to know her background. I don't need to hear her excuses or anything like that. So she came in the door as a loser. Now, I understand why people, I know why some people would take some shots at her because they said, well, she's a hypocrite. I mean, bro, she was already in her 40s when she got here. Okay. Her name picked up some steam because she was able to get on Nick Cannon's podcast and she was able to get on Cam Newton's podcast. And then since though she was able to get there, she's been able to get to other places. But she was old the whole time. Okay. So you have an old lady who ain't good enough to be a wife, who tells people about relationships from her perspective. Now, is she a damaged woman? I mean, she sound like one. That's all I'm gonna say. She sound like one. I told y'all beforehand, you sit and listen to it, and stuff is kind of obvious. She was talking about her daddy, and she was extremely proud of her dad being a gangster. We talking about a woman in her 40s who was proud that her daddy was a gangster. And because she said he wasn't doing like no little stuff. He wasn't like no gangster around the block. She said dude was like a bigwig. Now, I'm not saying she lying. She said the dude did eventually change his life, and he's a much better person now. I believe she said he got himself right with the Lord, and he on a whole different time now. I'm not saying any of that ain't true. I don't know who her daddy is. Never cared to look it up. It is what it is. But I heard her speak about it. She was proud that her daddy was a gangster. She was proud that her daddy was a big time gangster. And she was proud of that in her 40s. Now, that's where it gets a little different. I understand any child being proud of their daddy. I definitely get that. Okay. But when you grow up and you're no longer a little kid and you start understanding more aspects about life, especially when you get to your 40s. Now, if you was in that gangster lifestyle, I understand why you would still be proud. But if your claim is, I don't want to be around dysfunctional people, I don't want to be involved in dysfunction, and I'm trying to help people get away from dysfunction, how are you proud that your daddy a gangster? Or at least was a gangster? What you really should have been proud of the fact that he overcame being in a gangster lifestyle. That's what you should really be the most proud of. But when you listen to her speak, that is definitely not the impression you get. So now my thing is this. She put that on public record. Now, I ain't mad at her. She basically let me know from Jump Street what kind of woman she was. Now, I get it. Folks is coming at her because she been in this on again, quote unquote, off again relationship with some guy. Okay. Some guy that is 9 years her junior. Okay. She dates multiple men though. All right. Now, she didn't say for sure that she giving it up to everybody, but she did let us know she definitely giving it up to one of these guys. The guy that she been in this on again, off again relationship that is 9 years her junior. I don't know how many times I done said about how black women try to go after compromised men. And one of the way they see men is compromised by going after some guy who's younger than her so she can have more leverage to misuse him. Now, I'm not saying anything about their relationship. I don't know what's going on between them two. Don't need to know. Okay? Hey, my thing is, she say he give her some time and she in her 40s. Hey, more power to her at the end of the day, man. More power to her. You know? Now, I will say this. I could understand a man marrying her who she already been rocking with for some years if she becomes 40. I get that, you know? But she went after somebody 9 years her junior. Hey, man, that's on you at the end of the day. I ain't hating, as they say. But if she says these public things about herself, you know, she makes certain things public about herself, and people coming at her in this negative way because, you know, they say she's a hypocrite now. What y'all want an old lady to say? I'm gonna say, listen, I ain't here to justify nothing she's saying, but I'm here to be realistic about what the situation is. What y'all want an old lady to say? She is a UOF, an unwanted old feminist, okay? Y'all see that even as a quote-unquote professional, because remember, she's supposed to be a doctor. So even as a professional, she goes on in the public settings and she attacks men. She gnaws at men. She try to get men to react to her. You know? Now, let's keep it real. She try to somewhat come off as a professional, but she's always trying to get a reaction of the men that's sitting in front of her. And based on what I can tell, because I done now watched her talk to Paul Pierce, I done seen her talk to Cam Newton, and I done seen her talk to Nick Cannon. Now, other of you guys may have seen her in other places because she has been in other places. I don't care to watch the lady like that. I've watched her simply because I have a channel and I'm a content creator, and it's an issue for black folks. Okay? Other than that, I don't want nothing to come out her mouth. I already know what time it is, man. She is past 30 years old. She ain't never been married. What she gonna say to me that's gonna matter? Now, I have openly told y'all that I recognize that black women lie a lot, and I just don't buy into stuff they saying. I need verifications on certain things, well, most things that they say, if I don't know them personally. Because I don't know they have a track record of telling the truth. Now, I'm not saying this woman's lying just for the sake of lying. I'm not saying she ain't gonna lie. But I mean, we starting off with a woman who's 30 and above talking about marriage. You know, she's definitely says nonsense to try to get people to let their guard down about about what's real. She definitely tries to get people to lay down their guard about what's real. All right. Now, the thing is, I understand for some people it's an issue about whether she's an actual doctor or not, or whether she actually graduated with some PhD or whatever. Man, if you listen to her, you know, a PhD ain't gonna save her. Let's say she got a PhD. That don't make any of the nonsense she say make sense. It's that simple to me, y'all. And then, you know, okay, so all right. Paul Pierre asks her what's going on with her. So now she admits that I'm juggling multiple men. Now and I told y'all before, Black women love to protect their image. So she admits that she's definitely been getting down with one guy. She didn't necessarily admit she was getting down with any of the other guys. Not that she truly denied it. Excuse me, folks. All right. So we have a woman who says she doesn't want to share men. That's not the type of relationship she has, or she wants, or desires, or want to be involved with. But she's dating multiple dudes at the same time because she's not exclusive to anyone. All right? She's not exclusive to anyone. So I kind of get why people say, hey, man, maybe she is being a little bit of a hypocrite. Because the thing is, the truth, now, see, this is something my daddy taught me, okay? My daddy wasn't no gangster, though. But this is what my daddy taught me. He said the truth got to make sense at the beginning, middle, and the end. That's what my daddy said. All right? So I understand that a lot of people put some stock into this woman, which I never did, because she came to the table trying to tell people about, you know, what they supposed to do to get married. And she was already 30 and above. And she was already unmarried. What do I need to listen to her for? Okay. And this is the thing, y'all. She lives in this world where she don't want to just keep it real about stuff, y'all. At the end of the day, it is a woman's job to prove to a man that she is worthy of him marrying her, because it is an automatic burden that you're going to have when you marry a woman. Okay? Because you got to take care of that woman at the end of the day. You got to make sure that woman is good at the end of the day. When you have kids by that woman, you got to make sure the kids are straight too. So a man is literally taking on a burden when he takes on a woman. And I've told y'all before, there is a such thing as a good liability. Okay? Some of y'all pay a mortgage. A mortgage is a liability. It does take money out your pocket. But you like owning a home. So you see that as a good liability. Okay? Some of y'all have children. Okay? Children take money out your pocket. They are liabilities. But they're good liabilities. Okay? There's a such thing as a good liability. I know that's, you know, different when people look at the word good and liability at the same time. No, there's good liability. There's things we just want to pay because we want it. Okay? We just gonna pay it because we want it. It is what it is. You know, so we consider it a good thing. It ain't technically hurting nobody. It ain't damaging nobody's property, so it's all good. Okay. Now, I am not here to say a woman cannot be a good liability. But I do understand it is a woman's job to prove that she's worthy for a man to marry her. What is somebody who is female and in their 40s going to say about marriage? See, men can talk about these things because men determine who they want to marry. So it's fine for a man to talk about it. He's in his proper position. Heck, somebody got to tell them what is real at the end of the day. Somebody got to tell them. Because women make up their own narratives and their own scenarios, which she seems to do a lot of. Okay? She seems to do a lot of that. Okay? Shout out to QM. Now, I don't know you QM like that, so maybe this is a joke, maybe it's not. Because I see the first 3 words and I'm thinking this may be a joke. He says, in my opinion, oh no, this is different than what I thought it was. I was assuming you were going to say something about Shannon Sharp. He says, in my opinion, her Sharp, or maybe this is supposed to be her and Sharp would be a good match because they both seem traumatized from childhood and probably rub shoulders with some of the same sectors. That is terrible, man. That is horrible. That is that's a horrible suggestion, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand it's your opinion. I'm not saying you don't have a right to your opinion. I'm saying that's a horrible. Why would you say that, man? Why would you want to do that to Shannon Sharp? Okay, why would you want to do that to him? You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe they have been in the same sections. That could you know what I'm saying? That could very well. You must not like Shannon Sharp. That's all that's all I can get from that statement. Okay. I don't know you like that. I don't know if this is a joke. I'm assuming you was being dead serious, man. Why would you want to put that on Shannon Sharp? Now, well, you know what? QM did say something else. Let me read the other part he said. So maybe this will give me a little bit more understanding. He says her and Sharp should get together because they are both old and never married and both seem quite traumatized from childhood or life experiences, but she wants kids, so never mind. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say that's a horrible recipe. I'm gonna say that is a horrible recipe. Shannon Sharp is way too, man, he's too far gone when it comes to her. Why would you want to? You don't like Shannon Sharp? That's all I'm asking. If you got something against Shannon, I mean, I get what you're saying. I do get it to a certain degree. Now that you put a little explanations to it, but man, you must really not like Shannon Sharp. That's all. Or maybe you don't know anything about her too much, or maybe you only know a small piece of something. But why would you want to do that to Shannon? Now, look, y'all, I respect the heck out of Shannon Sharp. Real talk, okay? I respect the heck out of Shannon Sharp. He a brother that used his gifts to have a great football career, and now he's got his after football career. He got a lot of stuff going on, okay? I ain't saying I agree with everything Shannon do, but I do have respect for the man, so I would never. Lord have mercy, man. And I'm not saying Shannon can't be with a woman over 40 if that's what Shannon wanted to do, but Lord have mercy. Why would you do him like that to suggest her? Why would you do the man like Now, Kim says, no issues with Sharp, but it seems people always try to marry him off. Laugh out loud. And you know what? That could very well be true, but Lord have mercy. That ain't the one, man. That ain't the one. Okay. Look, y'all. Look, I'm not going to say that this woman is in the streets. Okay. I ain't going to say she in the streets. What I am going to say is she said she in the streets. Okay. She dating multiple dudes at the same time. She says she in the streets, not me. Okay. She says she in the streets. All right. And you got this one dude that she's quote unquote hooked on at the end of the day, y'all. She keep going back to this dude. Okay, and I ain't tripping about that, but she got some dude who's 9 years her junior. And at the end of the day, she has yet to figure out how to control this man. And I'm not mad at a lot of sisters try to figure out how to control a man. And a lot of sisters want to be better off than a man so they can say, even if the man make a come up, you're only something because you with me. They like to guilt trip a man into being good to them. Let's just keep that real. Black women don't like men that are good to them on their own for the most part. They like to, quote unquote, guilt trip a man into be good to them. They want to take somebody who seems like he's struggling in comparison to them and then try to help him. I ain't going to say help him come up, but if he makes a come up, she wants to guilt trip him and saying that you'd never been what you became if it wasn't for me. Because let's keep it real. She don't try to help him come up. I done told y'all plenty of times, if you would mess with a sister and all you got is a PlayStation, like they joke about Pookie's, Pookie got his PlayStation. Well, if all Pookie got is a PlayStation, I don't care how long she with that dude. Okay, she would mess with that dude for years, and when Pookie leave, all Pookie gonna have is a PlayStation. He don't move. He don't make any kind of come up. Okay, let's just keep it real, y'all. He don't make any kind of come up being with a sister who wants to be with a man who ain't on his game or ain't trying to do nothing. They seek out those women. I mean, those women seek out those men. When they looking for a man who ain't on nothing, now I'm not saying a man can already be building something, but they seek out men who ain't building. They do this deliberately. Okay? And this woman said a whole bunch of stuff to try to justify women doing that. And y'all, there was crazy stuff going on. Now, I understand a lot of folks didn't even attempt to watch the whole thing. I ain't gonna say you should or you shouldn't. If you want to understand how women lie a lot, I think it would be a good lesson if you watch it, or just to understand the nonsense that women be coming up with, or how they change certain things to try to justify nonsense. Now, if you're gonna look at it from an examination standpoint, sure, it's a great thing to examine. Now, I don't really listen to women like that anyway. Okay, well, I ain't gonna say I don't listen because I hear them. I do hear them, but I know women say a lot of nonsense that don't add up to facts. Okay, they'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff all day long because I've always talked to women, but I have paid attention to the fact that a lot of stuff they say don't add up to facts. I mean, she even threw the Bible in there. She was talking about babies being born and how Hagar had a child by Abraham because they wanted a baby, but how people they didn't want to wait on God's time. So, Abraham's wife Sarah said, "Why don't you have a baby with our maid, who was Hagar?" And the way she portrayed the story, she said, as soon as Hagar got pregnant, now the Sarah get pregnant. She want Hagar gone. Now maybe she meant well, or maybe she was just butchering stuff for her own agenda. Because if my memory's correct, them kids was at least 13 years apart. Hagar had been got thrown out. Okay. Before Sarah got pregnant, Hagar had been thrown out. She had a problem there from Jump Street. Now I can understand why she said it based on the stuff she said later. I can understand why the story was butchered. Because she tried to use, she was trying to make another point later. So to me, it sounded like she deliberately butchered what was in the Bible because she wanted something to go off of to add strength to the nonsense she was kicking. That's how I saw it. She wanted strength added to the nonsense she was kicking. Oh, you know what, y'all? My bad. I know we've been having problems with the links. I forgot to put a link in the chat so we can get around the fact that for some reason the link being in the description has been some kind of issue. I'm gonna jump on that right now, y'all. I'm gonna jump on that right now. And let me say this, y'all. If y'all have been on the other channels and you haven't got your wrench yet, make a comment in the chat and put wrench so I can make sure I get you squared away. All right. The people who had a wrench, okay, not just anybody. The people who had a wrench. All right. If you are in the live, make a comment and I got you. Okay, make a comment, just say wrench, and I got you. The people who had a wrench, okay? Not just anybody, okay? The people who had a wrench. And I'm gonna give a couple other. I already have been giving some wrenches out. Some people who have deserved the wrench, but not necessarily had gotten one. I've been looking out for those folks too. All right, and I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Rosemaster One. Rosemaster One, I got you too, brother. I got you too. Okay, because you've been a great supporter of me. Real talk. So, y'all, and those who have riches, remember, y'all, the only really thing I'm trying to fight against is the folks who come in like on this extra racist stuff. You know, that's really my main issue, or the sexually explicit stuff. Those are the ones I'm worried about. Okay, those are the ones I'm worried about. Other than that, you know, I ain't really stressing over other people. People attacking me, I'm fine with. You know, people attacking other folks, not so fine with, y'all. Okay, not so fine with. Real talk. All right, because technically it's my house. If someone attacking me, because I don't really care about nobody's personal attacks on me, I just don't actually care. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I don't actually care. Okay, so attacking me is one thing, but attacking my guests, because everybody's my guest. That's how I look at it, y'all. Everybody's my guest. So I can't have you attacking the guests, because everybody is good as far as I'm concerned. Now you start getting out of pocket, we got to put you out. It just is what it is, y'all. We start, you know, we got to put you out. It is what it is. But getting back to this situation here, okay? Getting back to this, all right? The woman was in a lot of stuff, so she can justify some of the things that she's been a part of, all right? and you know her nonsense lifestyle, okay? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna say, shout out to Tiberius, y'all. Okay, shout out to Tiberius. It's always one, y'all. It's always one. Now, do I know who Tiberius is? No, I don't recognize Tiberius. Okay. Is Tiberius somebody who had a wrench before, who used to go by a different name? Possibly, but I don't recognize the name Tiberius as somebody who had a wrench. But Tiberius say, I'm gonna get me a wrench. Tiberius say, oh, it's that easy to get a wrench? Let me go. Let me go throw my name out there and see what happens. Hey, I ain't even mad at you, Tiberius. I ain't even mad. It's funny, but I ain't even mad at you. Real talk. Hey, you never know what can happen. And as they say, you can't blame a guy for trying. Real talk. You can't blame a guy for trying. So shout out to Tiberius. Maybe one day, Tiberius, we'll see how you do over here. I ain't saying you can't get one in the future. But shout out to Tiberius, y'all. And I'll say this for Tiberius and other folks in the future, man. Look, man, I'm not looking to keep people away from the channel. I know people gonna come in with a difference of opinion. Those people are welcome here. We just want to keep it where it's not too much disrespect going on, and people ain't coming here with the sexually explicit stuff or the white supremacist stuff. But people with a different opinion is very much welcome over here. And heck, I invite those folks to join the panels and everything, because there's nothing wrong with seeing what someone has to say from the other side of the fence at the end of the day. All right. And I knew Wrench Wielder. Rosemaster One says that's Captain Kirk's middle name, Tiberius. I don't know, man. Maybe it's the captain himself, y'all. Maybe it's the captain himself. Oh, you know what? William Shatner's still around, y'all. Maybe that's his online username, y'all. Maybe we got William Shatner might just be in the house, man. Shout out to William Shatner, man. Shout out to William Shatner, man. And shout out to James T. Kirk, y'all. We better recognize over here. We better recognize. Shout out to James T. Kirk, man. Also known as Tiberius. Shout out to Afro Mercy. He's like, I'm the captain of the ship now. Vibes. All right, good people. Okay. Let's get back to business, though. Let's get back to business, okay? Now, y'all, and this is why I'm doing this, y'all, to say in defense of Dr. Bryant. In defense, okay. Now, Dr. Bryant says a whole lot of nonsense. You okay? I've listened to her too much to know that nonsense to not know that nonsense is a part of her game. That's just a part of her game. And her thing is she tries to blame men no matter what the situation is, and she even tries to blame men for what women actually do. But I mean, that's a normal thing in Black society, and it's a normal thing in American society. America has consistently tried to blame Black men for stuff that ain't got nothing to do with us. So she's just another person trying to jump on that train so she can get a bag. I get it all day long. I get it all day long. But see, the thing is, when people come at her and say she's a hypocrite, I mean, I would respect you more if you said she a liar. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I kind of get that. Okay. When you say she's a hypocrite, well, I mean, the thing is, she's talking to folks about, what they need to do to be in a healthy relationship, yet she has a hard time describing a healthy relationship herself. I've noticed every time she talks about relationships, she's in this world with everybody got to be in trauma, everybody got to be messed up in the head, and everybody got to have this terrible, terrible childhood, or, maybe people went through a lot of stuff as she did. Because, a lot of women will talk in a perspective that can't nobody be different than them. Okay? A lot of women do that. Okay? Really, most women do that. Your experience can't really be different than mine. And there's a lot of brothers who start doing that too. When you deal with people, y'all, the first thing you got to understand, we ain't the same. There's things about human beings that sure will be the same for the most part. But everybody ain't raised in the same home. Everybody don't have the same type of concepts of what they should do. Everybody ain't even trying to make it. Now, this lady says she don't want to be in a relationship with a man who already has children. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's on her at the end of the day. I ain't saying that's a bad thing. Okay. But she also said that she wants to get married and then have children. Okay, cool. All right. I ain't mad at you, right? So she wants to be taken serious by men so she can get married. But then she says, I'm dating multiple people at the same time. Okay. Then she admits on a public platform that all the guys who date her have access to. She admits that, yeah, it's been this one guy who been blowing my back out off and on for 5 years now. Now you tell me, y'all. You tell me. Okay, maybe I'm slow. Maybe I'm slow. Maybe I don't get it. Okay. If I was a woman and I want somebody to marry me so I can have this family, which she said, okay, is it intelligent for me to get on a public platform and let everybody know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't really mess with you like that. I'm dating multiple guys. I'm not committed to anybody. But guess what? There is a guy who's 9 years younger than me. He been blowing my back out for years now. Who am I supposed to believe she's connected to? Okay? Who am I supposed to believe she connected to? Because, me just being a regular old dude, I'm thinking you probably got some type of connection with the dude who get to keep hitting it and you admitted it. I am not saying the other men you were dating ain't hitting it. I'm not saying that at all. But you let us know without shadow of a doubt you've been messing with this one dude year in, year out. We on again, off again. We on again, off again. How you be on again, off again? Ain't nobody hitting that. So now, if I'm the other dude, I'm dating her, and I hear her say on a public platform, yeah, man, I'm dating multiple men. I ain't taking none of them serious for real because I got this one dude who's 9 years younger than me, and he get the draws basically when he want to. That guy don't have to commit to me. He can get the draws though. I want to get married because I want to have kids. I want to have kids right away. Matter of fact, I just took out my IUD. I just took out my birth control so I can get pregnant. Now, the guys I'm dating, I'm not taking them seriously at all. But this one dude who doesn't have to marry me, he get to beat it up. Now, Paul Pierce, he said what a lot of people say. So he must be giving you the good D, right? But see, this is where men got to really start paying attention about life. We think because a woman's having sex with the same guy, that means the D is good. No, not necessarily. I'm not saying it ain't good. It very much could be. But the thing about women is they don't want to open themselves up to too many sexual partners. So even if it ain't good, a woman will keep messing with the same guy. See, getting sex out of a woman, the hardest time is the first time. And let's just keep it real. The hardest time is the first time. But once you're in there, you have a sexual relationship until for some reason it kind of dwindles out. Maybe who y'all are as people or whatever, y'all don't like each other no more or whatever the case is. But, that first time is technically your hardest time until y'all been together for a while and then y'all start having issues with each other. Now, technically it can get a little harder. It can get a little harder if y'all already having issues. But if the first time is supposed to be your hardest time. Okay. Now, if I'm one of the dudes, I'm sitting there like, oh, that's what you saying? Oh, okay. So I took you out to such and such and it ain't mean nothing to you, huh? Because that's all I'm gonna hear. Okay. If I'm not the guy who been messing with her for year in, year out, what I'm gonna hear from that is, okay, so I took you to such and such, it meant nothing. Even if the guy hit it too. So I've been digging out your guts, but it didn't mean squat to you. Now, why am I saying this? Because her whole thing is she's talking about she want to get married. Now, she's saying she wants to get married right away because she wants to have children right away, but she don't want to have a child until she get married. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad stance. I just don't understand why you 42 years old thinking you about to get married to somebody and get pregnant right away, and you still dating multiple men, while you got this one guy who been getting it on with you for years. So now I'm gonna say this: there's different things that can mean, but to somebody who ain't involved in her life, somebody from the outside looking in, sound like she's trying to get the guy who 9 years younger than her to get her pregnant. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, that's what it sounds like to me. I am not saying she ain't getting hit off by the other dudes, because she very much could be. Okay, so are you trying to get pregnant by the dude that's 9 years your junior, but you claiming there's something wrong with him because that's stopping you from marrying him? Now, again, y'all, she's telling y'all who she is. If a woman thinks it's a man's job to convince her to marry him, she already wrong. It is a woman's job to convince a man that she's worthy of marriage, so he will take on that responsibility. That's just the way it goes. So now, again, people attacking her, but think about it, Joe. She told y'all I was an old lady from Jump Street. She told y'all that. She ain't lie about it at all. Now, why is that important? Well, what you expect the old lady to do? Let's be real for a moment, y'all. What do you expect for an old lady to do? You got a woman who is in her 40s, right? She has a dysfunctional background. That's what she says about herself. Now, I listen to the stuff she says, so I know, based on me hearing her, she sounds like a dysfunctional person now. She says she gives advice to people to try to help them not be dysfunctional, but I hear her perspectives that sound very much dysfunctional. Okay? But I get it. Why wouldn't it sound that way when she's an old lady? She has to defend her position. Okay? She got to defend her position. She got to make it sound like she good to go. Because if she just tell the truth about what's going on, yeah, she gonna come off sounding crazy. She gonna come off looking like a nutbag. Now, honestly, she should kind of come off looking like a nutbag anyway if you actually listen to her. But what she's supposed to say? She's a unwanted old feminist, the UOF, because she well past 36 years old. Now, for people who don't get about the ages, okay, look, at 18, a woman is supposed to be a base model wife. I'm not saying she got to be perfect for her husband, but she should be a base model wife. She will learn more things about her husband, change up her game a little bit. She'll fit more into what her husband is doing, but she should be base model at 18. Okay? You shouldn't make it to your 18th birthday and not be worthy of being a wife. That ain't supposed to happen. Now, if you listen to her, she say that's crazy. But there's literally no excuse for not being a base model wife on your 18th birthday. Okay? Now, by 22, you should have been married. Because how many relationships you supposed to have? You know, and as I've told y'all before, ain't really much a girl's gonna do. Once she have her 18th birthday and she's completed high school, what she really gonna do is gonna help her be a better wife. Not very much. Okay, so yeah, I'm not saying have a relationship with somebody and get married through the door immediately. Not saying that's a horrible thing if you pick the right guy. But by 22, you should be married, because you're not supposed to have this super big sex life with all these other dudes. Now, at 22 and you're still a virgin, not really a question. Okay, I can understand a 22-year-old virgin. I can understand that. I get it. A lot of girls ain't going to be virgins by their 18. Okay, well, let's keep the body count down at least a little bit. Okay, let's try to keep it down a little bit. Okay, how many bodies you going to have at 22? Okay, now, 25 years old, I get it. Some woman's still searching for something better because women are always trying to upgrade to a certain degree. Okay, cool. You want to upgrade. 25 come, there is nothing else the market has to offer you. Whatever you was going to get has already been offered to you in the market. You ain't finna change and then make some super come up. Yeah, anything's possible. Just, somebody gonna say, well, anything's possible. I get that. Yeah, and I can find you a guy with no legs, but I would have to put an effort to find a guy with no legs, wouldn't I? I would have to start looking at places where people are injured to find you a guy with no legs, wouldn't I? I ain't just gonna walk down the street just bump into some guy with no legs. I gotta find somebody who had an injury. I had to find somebody who got a birth defect. I gotta find somebody who's in a situation that more than likely they don't even want to be in. So yeah, somebody gonna say, well, you never know what can happen in the future. Okay. In the future, you might not have no legs. You don't expect that though. Everybody walking around with legs now does not expect that in the future they're not gonna have their legs. Yeah, quote unquote, anything could happen, but what's the probability of it? Okay. Now, she already hit 18. Obviously, she wasn't ready to be a base model wife for some reason. She didn't fix herself because an 18-year-old has the responsibility of fixing themselves. You can say all that stuff about what my mama didn't give me, what my daddy didn't give me. You could have fixed yourself because you're 18 now. Your life is different now. Okay? 22, she wasn't married. She obviously didn't fix herself. Okay? She got to 25, still not worthy of a marriage. She made it to 30. Nobody wanted to marry her. Okay? And I understand somebody going to say, well, somebody wanted to marry her if they truly wanted that she be married. She ain't got no husband in the background. It is what it is, y'all. It is what it, and that's a hard thing for especially women to deal with in life. Men, we adjust to it is what it is. We understand life ain't going to do us the same way when we pay attention. But at the end of the day, she made it to 25. She know what's out there. She know what she can get. Obviously, she couldn't get a husband. So did she correct herself? No, she obviously didn't. That's why she made it to 30, still not married. And your first wife should be 29 and down. That only makes sense. Any man's first wife should happen 29 and down. Okay? A man's first wife is not supposed to be 30 and up. That is dysfunction. Point blank, period. And a lot of people try to say it's different reasons why people got married younger back in the day. Well, one of the main reasons people got married younger back in the day because they were more functional people. Just is what it is. It wasn't about outside circumstance. They were just functional people at a lot higher rate. It just is what it is. Okay, so she didn't correct nothing. She done made it to 30, ain't corrected herself, still ain't got married. Now, this is the thing, y'all. You admitted that you've been getting dug out by this guy who's 9 years younger than you. But did y'all hear what she said? I want to get married. I want to have children. I done took my birth control out so it can happen. She was literally asked about the guy who's 9 years younger than her. And you know what she said? Well, no, I don't want to marry him, though. You literally just said you want to get married. You said you want to get married before you have children. What about the guy you already are sexually active with? You just admitted in public that you are sexually active with this guy from time to time. Well, I get that, but I don't want to marry him. Okay, what's the problem with him? Well, he got issues he got to work through. He got issues he got to work through, but you steady having sex with the guy who got issues he got to work through. And when the man say, well, why don't you get married? Well, not him. Who's she trying to marry, y'all? She said she want to get married. Look, I'm not putting it on her. That's what she said out of her own mouth. Now, I know women want to get married. They will tell you a whole lot of nonsense, but the nonsense don't equal the facts. It just is what it is. So she want to get married. She having sex with some random dude out here. She dating a bunch of other dudes while having sex with the random dude. She done put that out there publicly. She done told us, I done took out my protection. The womb is now open for business. And when asked directly, okay, why don't you just marry dude who been working with you? As you say, y'all been working together. So young dude been working that out. Okay. Young dude been working that out for years at this point. Why don't you marry young dude who been working you out for the last 5 years? Well, all that sound good, but I don't want to marry him. Y'all, are the facts adding up? Okay. Think about that. Are the facts adding up? I want to get married. I'm having sex with a man. I've been having sex with him for 5 years that I do not want to marry. I want somebody to see me as a wife, yet I date multiple dudes at the same time. Think about that, y'all. I mean, let's be real. I'm willing to come out and say all this on a public platform because obviously the guys I'm dating are idiots. Because there's nowhere in the world that somebody's going to know I date these guys and their friends ain't going to ever mention this to them. They'll never see this publicly. Even though I said it on the public platform, they'll never see this. So I'm not concerned with them determining if I'm a good match for marriage or not. They'll never see this. None of their friends are going to say, hey, did you hear what the doctor said on Paul Pierce show? None of them going to say that. Now, maybe she think in her heart of hearts that they're not actually going to see this because they don't follow what she do on social media. That could very well be the truth. Maybe she really believes that. So I guess they none of them got a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, a cousin, a nephew, a niece, and ain't nobody gonna take, hey, ain't this that lady you dating? Nobody gonna bring that to their attention. Just nobody. Ain't this the lady you dating? You know, I can see it. Dude been talking real good about her, you know, and I can see it, y'all. Hey, his nephew come up to him. Yeah, man. Hey, Unc, ain't you you said you was dating that lady and she real cool, right? Yeah. My girl, she cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is you thinking about marrying her one day? Man, well, I don't know, man. It might happen. We'll see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? She all right. I mean, hey, Unc, is she really rocking with you? Yeah, she rock with me. Yeah, she rock. Why would you even ask that? No, I'm just saying, Unc. I'm just trying to learn what's going on. I'm just trying to learn what's going on in the world. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, make sure I'm good to go and I understand things I need to understand. Does she really rock with you, Unc? Yeah, she rock with me. Okay, Unc. She rock with you. Show. Yeah, she rock with me. Look, man, you can't just deal with any woman coming at you in any kind of way. You got to make sure the woman you rocking with is really rocking with you, okay? Or we shouldn't be talking about marriage or anything like that unless she really rock with you. All right, well, she rock with you. What this mean? What you talking about? Well, look at this, she talking to Paul Pierce. Well, you know, she kind of in the celebrity realm, so that's possible that she might talk to Paul Pierce. She talked to some celebrities sometime. No. She on Paul Pierce show. Look what she said to Paul Pierce. Paul asked her some questions. And she gave some answers. So I guess that's not gonna happen in her world at all. Maybe, yeah. Now I'm gonna say this, y'all. Haven't I said time and time again, stupidity is a choice? Are you dumb enough to believe that any man could date you and he could be one of these guys that you dealing with at the same time and it ain't gonna get back to him? Now I get it may not get back to him immediately. It may take a day or two, may even take a month. But you think ain't nobody gonna bring this to his attention? Yet you gonna say this on a public platform? Now, cool, she was trying to be honest. Okay, maybe she was just trying to be honest. Okay, I mean, she said enough nonsense. It's cool that she be honest at least time to time. But to be fair to her and other older women, y'all, to be fair, she told you she was an old lady in the first place. She said that. She didn't have the fact that she was a loser. She told us she was a loser. Yes, I'm Dr. Bryant. I'm over 30 and I ain't never been married. I'm a loser. Now, she didn't use those words, but she definitely said it. Now, how is a loser going to help me get married to anybody? Okay? Now, if a man was older and trying to tell me something, okay, I got an ear for that. I do got an ear for that. I'm just going to keep it real. I got an ear for that. Okay? But how is a woman who could never get a man to marry her? Why would I listen to anything she got to say? So my thing is, hey, y'all listen to her. That's y'all fault. You know? Now, maybe you listen to it for a soundbite. Maybe you was actually curious. Maybe you thought she could teach you something. But she is an admitted loser at the end of the day. An admitted loser. What is the big deal that an admitted loser actually outs herself to say, I've been dating multiple guys at the same time, and this one guy been dicking me down for years now? I told y'all time and time again, a lot of women say things that are truly an oxymoron. She wants to get married, but she took out her birth control. She ain't got no fiance or nothing. She took out her birth control. She getting dicked down by the young dude, okay? She getting dicked down by a young dude, but she dating multiple men. Now, if you are the multiple man, are you cool with the fact that she getting dicked down by a young dude? Because you could be hitting it too. But who says I'm going to marry the woman getting dicked down by somebody else? What guy ever said that? Ma'am, my baby's so cold. And you know what? Because she taking dick from other men, she's so cold though. I want to take her off the market. You know? So in order to get her to stop having sex with other men, I'm gonna marry her. Now I understand a man may say that in theory. Yeah, I don't want other men having sexual access to her, so therefore I'm going to marry her. Yeah, but he's talking about men who ain't having sex with her. She literally said, I'm out here. I'm in these streets, okay? I'm in these streets. There ain't no question about where I'm in these streets. Y'all, I'm in these streets, okay? Real talk. And guess what? It's multiple street bumps out there that I'm running into, okay? It's you know, some streets you got these little humps, y'all. The humps hit, right? Well, you hit the hump, okay? Now, this is the woman that supposedly talks to other people to help them get through traumas or tragic issues or something to help them be better mates to people. This is the woman telling them that. Okay, this the woman telling them, what you gonna tell me, man? I'm just keeping it real. What is a loser? An official loser. I don't have to ask no questions, okay? She is 30 years old and she's never been married. She is an official loser. What on earth is she gonna tell me that can help me treat my mate better? Okay. What's she gonna tell? Obviously, her theories about mates don't work. Okay. Y'all may say, well, every woman don't want to get married. She admitted she wants it. You can't even use that argument. Okay. She threw the Bible out there as a reference. You can't use an argument against it. All that's dead. She brought it into it. Nobody forced her to. She brought it up. Okay. It is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. She brought it up. So you can't bring it up and then say she it don't mean nothing to her. Well, why she bring it up then? Okay, why she bring it up then? Now I'm gonna say shout out to my main man, one of our newest mods, Roastmaster One, who came through with the $20.57. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate you big time. And shout out to that 57-cent Trail Bentley tax, because y'all, that 57 cent add up. Okay, think about it. A couple 57 cents, I got a whole extra dollar. Okay, and 14 cents. Okay, not only do I got a whole extra dollar, I got 14 cents to go with it. Okay, so I'm already working on the third dollar. So shout out to you, brother. I appreciate that. $20.57. Real talk. Okay. Now, y'all, again, my thing is, it's real easy to drag her as a woman. It is very easy to drag her as a woman. Okay. Very easy to drag her. But you know what I really don't like? I don't try to gossip. Okay. And I don't want to drag black women. I love black women. I deal with their issues because they're issues. And I deal with the fact that we got to start doing certain things when it comes down to it. Okay. We got to have a certain regard for them. Okay. But at the end of the day, man, she told us who she was. So I get it. Some people mad at her to a certain degree. People want to, drag her name. And y'all, some of this is just, there are people who are making content that are just extremely petty in the first place. And they do have some issues themselves, and they don't know how to go about dealing with their issues. So they are attacking other people. I'm not saying she didn't make it easy for her to be attacked. She clearly made it easy for her to be attacked. But at the end of the day, let's be realistic, y'all. We respect women with the ability to get a husband. It's always been that way. I'm sure Jesus gonna show up again, and it's still gonna be that way. Yeah, women can have careers. Not saying they can't. But respecting a woman is gonna come off the fact that she can show that a man is willing to take a risk on her. See, if a man ain't gonna risk a marriage on you, what kind of woman are you? Now, this may hurt some women's feelings, but your hurt feelings ain't gonna change nothing. If a man is not willing to risk a marriage with you, it does say you ain't about nothing. And I get it. I hear women say, well, I don't want to be measured by my men. And you can't control how other people measure you. Ain't nothing you can do about that. People see you how they want to see you. Okay? Now, I've admitted that I do respect wives more. But that's how I am. The women don't have no control of that. I respect wives more because I understand what it's like to be a wife. My mom was a wife. I got aunties that are wives. My grandmothers were wives. I got friends that are wives. I've associated an organization with people that are wives. I've worked with wives. Yeah, they should get respected more. They absolutely should. Okay. Now, can you say it's a couple people out there that became a wife that should have never became one? Oh, absolutely you can. But at the end of the day, course correction comes. Is what it is, y'all. Is what it is. So now the thing about her, though, as everybody's attacking her, she said I was an old lady from Jump Street. What do you expect her to say, y'all? What do we expect somebody in her position to say? she old. We know ain't nobody gonna marry you. And I get it, y'all. People say, well, there's somebody out there who will marry. Well, guess what? If the dude didn't do it, the dude didn't do it. A woman claiming that somebody wants to marry her and she won't marry him. The only thing that's saying is, in her perspective, which is not a perspective none of us should judge a man on, but she's saying in her perspective, that man's a loser. So what she's telling us is only losers want to marry me because women don't turn down proposals from winners. Think about that. Women don't turn down proposals from winners. Now, a guy can be a winner and the woman turns down the proposal. That don't mean he's not a winner, because now you judge him through a woman's eyes, which is stupid. What that tells me is the woman is too dumb to recognize what a winner is. Because if she saw him as the winner he is, she would have said yes. She's slow. Hence, stupidity is a choice. Now, I know a lot of folks been trained that people are stupid and they cannot help it. That is not true. You can't help being stupid. You can learn like other people can. You can read like other people can. You can observe reality like other people can. You can stay where you at like other people can. Or you can advance yourself like other people can. So stupidity is a choice. You stupid because you want to be. Now, my thing is this. This woman has always said nonsense to let me know she is somebody I shouldn't listen to. Not to learn from anyway. She's made that abundantly clear. Now, I don't remember which podcast she did first, whether it was Nick Cannon's or Cam Newton's. I would assume it was Nick Cannon's first. Cam Newton was where she was kind of blowing up. But I heard him. I wouldn't have married her either. I don't even know what y'all would want me to say. I wouldn't have married her either. Okay. I wouldn't have married her either. I heard her talking. If I'm going to marry a woman, I'm going to want a woman who at least sounds intelligent most of the time. I'm going to say that. I'm going to marry a woman who sounds intelligent most of the time. Now, I'm not going to say she ain't going to say nothing that's correct. Okay? She said a correct thing here or there, but it's always sandwiched with nonsense. She can't talk too long and say something that should be understood and respected. She don't seem to have the ability to do it. At least she don't do it publicly, as far as what I know. Okay, she doesn't do it publicly, as far as what I know, because it's the third time I'm sitting here listening to her do an interview with somebody, and she just coming off ridiculous. And I'm not saying men can't be wrong too, because they did actually say, is it a red flag for a man to not have children who's over 40? They did say that. And even Paul Pierce believed that. Okay, because I'm not going to say a man is perfect. He don't get it. Now, is there a red flag for men to not have children in American society? Because that's what they were talking about. Obviously, it's not. If you look at child support laws, if you look at marriage laws and divorce laws, if you look at the outcomes of other men, if you think it's a red flag to not have kids, you're an idiot. At least in that regard. Okay? Just is what it is. You're an idiot in that regard. I don't have kids. Why? Because I never found a woman who was worthy of being a wife to have my children. So basically, if you actually know how to think for yourself and protect yourself, and you're able to navigate a society and you don't have kids with women that are unworthy, they take it as a red flag. Come on now, can we be dumber? And I'm not saying this as a shot at people. There are people brilliant at some things, but they're just not so sharp in other areas. That does happen. I mean, I still respect Paul Pierce, even though he said something that dumb. But I don't normally hear Paul Pierce saying dumb stuff. That's not a normal thing to me. That was the first time I can ever remember Paul Pierce saying something that was stupid. Now, granted, most of what I ever heard Paul Pierce talk about was basketball related, but it still was intelligent, though. Okay? There's things that go on in sports that unless you're really into it like that, you don't even understand it. When they start talking stuff about X's and O's and certain plays and certain setups, you don't get what they're saying unless you're into it. People can literally talk basketball in a way that you could be standing there the whole time, hear everything, and not understand anything they really said. Because they're talking about it from a perspective where they are well groomed in that situation, man. They understand this. They understand that, you know? Now, I don't watch the Bulls run a triangle offense for years. Okay? Can I really teach other people how to do a triangle offense? That would be a little bit different. Okay? That would be a little bit different. Now, I have seen the stuff drawn out, but if I didn't see somebody draw it out, I ain't got no shot. Okay? So you can be intelligent in certain areas and just not so bright in other areas because you haven't really studied that thing. Now, I'm not, and what Paul Pierce did do with her, you know, to give her a little grace, I guess, he did talk from a rich man's perspective because he was saying that, you know, when you 40, you should be thinking about traveling the world. But Paul rich. So as a rich man, that makes all the sense in the world. That makes all the sense in the world. When you're 40, you should be thinking about traveling the world. Paul ain't talking about the perspective of a person who actually has a job that they got to go to on a regular basis. You know, yeah, you can travel somewhere in the world. You might get a vacation for a week or two. Well, you can go somewhere. But 40-year-old men ain't thinking about, quote unquote, traveling the world in the context he was speaking of it on because they don't have the time nor the money to do it. Because they have to create certain results in their household. They're not getting paid millions of dollars. Okay? So in some things they were talking about it from a perspective of people that you're talking about people in like a 1%, top 1%. You're not talking about anything from a general standpoint. And unfortunately, there's people who don't even get that they're not talking about people from a general standpoint. Okay? Now, shout out to Truth Teller. Truth Teller says he meant 40-year-old dudes with no kids are red flags to ain't SBs. Okay, y'all should know what I mean, and I put it on the screen. To ain't SBs, just trying to help another productive man. Now, I would say, Truth Teller, hey, that's a good way to that's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. Okay, because a 40-year-old man who has not been through a divorce, a 40-year-old man who's not been taken for child support, a 40-year-old man who has not been manipulated through his own children is not a negative thing. Okay, those are positive things at the end of the day. Okay, those are positive things. All right. Now I get instantly why the women was like, "Oh yeah, it's got to be a negative thing." Again, y'all, let's match it to reality. They said men who haven't had children in their 40s are red flags. She 42. The other chick, who I guess is the co-host, you know, I think she said she like 36 or something like that. So who y'all dating? Because if they say all this stuff trying to get men who are 40 and above to date women like them, and let's keep it real, y'all, to date women like them who are older, why wouldn't they say something like that? But see, this is the thing about this lady. She came out being truth that she old. She's a loser. She gotta talk about stuff from a loser's perspective so she can somehow make a win easier for her because she is selfish. That's what's going on. Okay. She an old lady at the end of the day. When you 30 years old, you old. You supposed to already be married, already have children, things like that. Okay, so you're old from a marriage perspective. You can say, well, 30 ain't old. Not from general public standpoint. Sure, you can say 30 ain't old. But from a person who's going to get married, you are old when you're 30. A woman getting married at 30 and above is an old lady getting married. It just is what it is. You should have been figured this out. You should have been had a man who wanted to take a risk on you. You should have been had somebody who said, well, no, baby, you everything I need. Let's go. Because men don't look for perfect women. Now, they did say some stuff to try to present that men are looking for perfect women, but that ain't true at all. We ain't never needed no woman to have a career. If you got one, you got one. We ain't never need no woman to be the best anything. All we want is women who are loyal to us and improving themselves. You know, but of course she couldn't talk about it from that perspective because if she talks about things from a reality perspective, she look crazy. And I get that. A lot of women are going to protect themselves above all because I told y'all time and time again, which I'm going to keep on saying, women care about their image more than anything. Now, her interview is proof that women care about their image more than anything. It's all type of proof in there. Okay? But the thing is, it's all type of stupidity in there. Because again, you got a 42-year-old talking about she want to get married. I was using birth control. I'm stopped using the birth control so I can get pregnant. She don't got no fiance. There is no fiance. I got a dude 9 years younger than me who I don't want to marry, but he get to dig me down from time to time. I'm dating multiple dudes at the same time, and I just came on a public platform to make them understand 100% for sure if they had any doubt that they really meant something to me, that they don't. You talk about what you can't make up. So the good doctor said all this stupidity publicly. I'm never going to rag on people for having degrees. I'm not going to even say her degree not real, even though it has come into some question. I'm not going to research it enough to really figure it out. And I don't actually care. But when you present yourself as an intellect, because ain't no point in telling nobody you got a doctorate in anything if you're not going to present yourself as an intellect. When you present yourself as an intellect, you're supposed to make comments or conversations where people can just see intelligence running all over it, running all through it. Okay. and she was trying to put men in a woman's position where you don't have no options. That just ain't never been true about men. Okay. That just ain't never been true about men. You know, women marry men at all types of ages. It just ain't never been true about men. Because women ain't looking for the same stuff men are looking for. But to sit there at 42 years old and say, I want to have a family. I do not want to share. Y'all keep that in mind too. I do not want to share a man. She literally said, I don't want a man with kids because I don't want to have to deal with another woman and her kids and their things. Saying she don't have was saying that if she's with a man who has children by some other woman, not even a negative thing. She's saying stuff like, well, at some point in time, the kid gonna graduate school. Well, now my husband got to go deal with the fact that his other child that's not with me has to graduate school. He's got to go be a dad to that child too. She don't want to be a part of that. But she's 42. She's 42. All right. Now, I don't want to make fun of her, but is she smart enough to know what a 42-year-old man thinks? Now, she also said it's the red flag for men to be 40 and not have kids, but she wants a man who doesn't have children. And she thinks men should date women around their ages or be much older. I mean, well, no, she said she wanted men to not date younger women. You know, she thinks that the age should be kind of closer together. Now she's 42 herself, so she wants you want a 42-year-old man to marry her? You want a man that's 42 to marry you, and you 42? How's that supposed to work? But y'all supposed to plan on having a family? Come on, y'all. Good grief. But again, y'all, she told you she was old from jump. Why was there not an expectation for her to sound like an idiot? Now, I'm not saying I'm trying to convince anybody out there who heard her to make her to. I'm not trying to convince you that she sounded like an idiot. I'm just asking questions. She told me from Jump Street she was a loser. She 30 and never married. She's a loser. Okay. She said she was in her 40s. Okay, that's an official UOF. You a unwanted old feminist. She ain't said nothing to make me think she's an unwanted old feminist. She got probably multiple dudes dicking her down. She keep going back to the guy who's 9 years younger than her, and I get that. She wants a guy that she perceives she can control, but she don't want no man who already got kids. But she think men who didn't put themselves in a position to have kids, they're red flags because they could understand what's going on in society and didn't get caught up with a woman that they had to get divorced from. You make it make sense. And you know what? Truth telling, you have the flow. So if you want to try to make
I'm sorry. You laid it out better than I could. I was just saying. The sentence before contradicts the sentence right after, and then she looks at everybody like that made sense, right? And everybody's like, that don't make no sense, man. All right. I don't feel sorry for this lady. She's a loser. She gonna lose. Who I do feel sorry for, and it's not a pity sorry. It's a you an idiot sorry. Is the women who was co-signing that when they heard it, right? None of that made sense. We can all agree to that. I don't know anybody who could jump on the panel or in the comment section that could say what the words you just used made sense. But there were women who were cheering that on, and some men who were defending it. And I feel sorry for them, not because I believe that they deserve pity. I feel sorry for them because I didn't believe there were people that stupid, but obviously there is. And I don't think they should be allowed to walk around without help. They should be like them old people that have those aides and assistants and shit. You know, when you get old, you can't really walk. You got a nurse's assistant pushing you around. They need one of those. They can't be expected to exist out here as full-fledged adults. We can't, man. I mean, our society is going to die if we do. There's just too many of them saying, yeah, she right. A 40-year-old dude who doesn't have kids is a red flag because he didn't have kids. You hoes are crazy. I'm just saying. We can't let hoes take over. We can't. And y'all know I love hoes. Y'all know I love hoes. But we can't let them take over. I can't listen to this stupidity every day of my life, y'all. We just can't. We got to do something, man. Don't send your daughters to college. I don't know what the cause of this is. Feminism, college, whatever. Keep them in their room, lock them up in the basement. Do what we gotta do. Just the stupidity is maddening. We can't exist like this, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm bugging out. I'm sorry.
Hey man, y'all, not my words. Those are quote unquote Dr. Bryant's words. I'm just telling you what she said, y'all. I'm just telling you what she said. You know, more power to her. At the end of the day, good luck to her having her husband and her children. J Doe is here though. So before J Doe goes, let me say, y'all, sometimes you got to go to certain people and just say, look, baby, just let me hold your hand. You finna cross the street. Let just hold my hand. I'm gonna make sure we gonna get you across the street safe. I can't save your life, but maybe I can help you get across the street safely. But Jado, you have the flow, my brother. You have the flow.
I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, homie. Nigga ask about me. Nigga ask about me. I'm a hustler. And if you guys don't know, man, I'm referring to that. It's a line from Jay-Z, but it's a Cassidy song. You made it a high line. I made it a high song. You know what I mean? And hey, salute Roger, salute True, tell everybody in the chat. Replay game, what up? That's what we're looking at, man. We're looking at a bona fide hustler. And I don't know. I don't think nothing of it, man. This is her latest hustle. I would like to see, what she was doing back when she was 19, 23, 24, 30, all that stuff. I would love to see her. I don't care. I know what she was doing, but I would love to. It would be pretty funny to look at, man. Hey, I'm fully convinced. A lot of these so-called life coaches, therapists, psychologists, especially Black women, when they get in that field, I'm convinced, and I have no proof of it, that I think they are motivated to get in that field so they can hide their own, I guess, just crazy behavior. I'll just put it that way. Hide their own crazy behavior and try to kind of self-soothe themselves too, through getting education, and they can look down upon any Black man that seeks their help, and they can look like they know, they can lord over them, they can control them, and use psychological words to manipulate them, and at the same time they can kind of feel better about themselves, feel like, hey, at least I'm not as bad as this person or that person. You know what I'm saying? I'm convinced this is what this woman's doing. And during this segment, I listened to the entire or most of the show.
Did we lose Jado?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Jado, we lost you, brother. You may be going through a rough spot. So while we waiting on Jado, you back, Jado?
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Every time Paul Pierce asked her a question about her, she would always reverse it, turn it around, spin it back on the man. She deflected almost every time. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is what motivates a lot of these women to get in these fields or whatever. But it doesn't have the stuff she was saying. If you really inspect it and really break it down, it doesn't make sense. But if you say it with conviction and you say it with eloquent words, jargon, and stuff like that, it's okay. And I think a lot of women will buy into it because guess what? No matter what type of nonsense she spits out, guess what? She's sitting in a room with she's sitting in a room with a Hall of Fame basketball player. She's been on the Breakfast Club. She sat in a room with a great NFL player. She sat in a room with an actor, a comedian, a musician, Nick Cannon.
That's that whole energy getting you, Jado. The whole energy, the audacity levels is just too high.
You know what? I'm gonna speculate that Jado was on the phone. It's a bunch of hoes calling him trying to stop him.
There you go.
Hoes calling him
ringing, that's the hook. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
But while Jado's dealing with that, I guess we're gonna let Gold Peak it in because he just hit a mute button. So obviously he got something he got to attend to. Maybe his kid. Who knows? He's a loving father. So, let's just let Gold P get in and we'll go from there. Gold P, you got the flow, my brother. You got the flow.
Hey, good early to everybody. What's happening? Once again, we're on. What's happening? Peace to the panel and peace to everybody in the chat. I'm glad we are having this conversation about this broad, Miss Bryant. Hey, Roger, I think she's your type, bro. I think she's your type. She's smart. She's smart. In spaces. She could tell you what to do. Truth teller. I think you have to agree with me, brother. She'll get Roger in order, brother. She'll get Roger in order. She know how to word things, brother.
What we ordering? Chinese food? What we talking about?
You gonna have a baby mama that have three kids after 40. That's what you gonna have, player. That's what you gonna have, talking about.
She gonna order chicken nuggets for them 3 kids, bro, that you paying for.
Joe, you know how much you had to pay me to even? I'm gonna calm down.
Calm down, Roger.
No, I was gonna say, you know how much you had to pay me, Roger, to even talk to her. But I'm gonna say this because I am a content creator. Yeah, I would talk to her. I would talk to her. But if I wasn't a content creator, you know how much money you had to give me just to even talk to this lady? I wouldn't talk privately with her. Not for real. Maybe talk privately before we do the show or something like that. But I don't want to talk to her. What?
Why wouldn't you want to talk to her privately?
Bro, why would I? She is a self-admitted loser. Now, I get she don't understand she a loser. I totally get that. She don't know she a loser. She don't know she's
is she a failure? Is she a failure?
She's a UOF, an unwanted old feminist.
Roger, we've been going back and forth with this 2 days now. I've been trying to get you to say that she is a failure. Why you won't say failure, brother?
No, my thing is I ain't trying to say she a failure.
I call her a failure. My definition of a failure is a loser. So because
tell the truth. You tell the truth.
So you can lose at some things, but you can learn from your losses and improve yourself. That don't make you that doesn't necessarily make you a failure, right? If you can learn from the things you fail from and you could progress, grow, improve, then yeah. But a loser's a loser. Losers don't improve.
And we can say she's not improved, right?
No, we can say she's a loser. She's a
failure.
Well, I'm saying this. The reason I say loser, because a lot of people lose, and that's how you learn to win.
Maybe she's not winning though.
Maybe. I'm just saying maybe, and it's a huge maybe. Maybe one day she'll come out of this nonsense and actually start getting on some man's program, and she'll actually be able to get married one day.
Okay, Roger.
She's 42. It's too late for that, Roger.
Do you think she will, Roger?
Game over.
Of course
Do you think she will?
No, of course I don't think that.
Then she won't be a loser, then, Roger.
I know we want to clarify loser versus failure, but truth be told, she's a goner already, man. She ain't even worth trying to figure out whether or not she fits in either classification. She just isn't.
Hey,
she's gone,
so
man.
She would be a failure.
So here, and this is her own words. This is how you know she's a goner. Loser, failure, hypocrite, whatever you want to call her, a humpback whale, whatever it is you want to call her, you can call her. She's 42. She's been with this dude off and on for what? She said like 8 years?
I think she said it was 5 years. The dude is 9 years younger than her.
Yeah, 9 years younger, 5 years. So that means she ain't been in a real relationship for at least half a decade as of that. And who knows if they were not in an actual relationship? Who knows who else she's been with? This is the only dude she claiming. We know that is the only dude that existed.
Hey, if you keep
doing go down that path.
Hey, if you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, are you a fool?
She's not expecting a different result, though. You
No.
misinterpret.
But is that true or false?
That is true, but that's
Okay.
not what she's on. She's not on that.
But hear me out. If you keep doing the same thing, if you keep running into the same wall, expecting a different result, whether it's directly or indirectly, expecting a different result, then you are one who keeps doing what? Failing, right?
I know you're still stuck on that, but she's not a failure because she's not. It's not that she's not getting what she wants. She's getting what she wants. She's a hoe to the core.
I mean,
So hoes don't.
How is she getting what she wants when she can't get what she wants?
Let me throw this out here too. Let me throw this out to you.
Go ahead.
Based on the stuff she says, she's a very sexual person, right?
Right.
Okay. It ain't that hard for women to get dick, especially a woman who's not fat and not ugly. Okay. Right. So whatever you think about her, we can't say she's fat and we can't say she's ugly. Okay. Yeah, she's an older woman, sure, but she ain't fat and she ain't ugly. This lady can get some dick. There's no question about that. She came onto the show, and the opening of her being on that show was talking about how she got some before she got to the show. That was how she started the conversation. So she's dating multiple men. She got one guy who she's admitted is getting the box, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. She's a very sexual person. She started the show talking about, I just got some. Now the question is, who did she just get some from? Because she done told us, I think she said she was dating like 5 guys right now or something. Who she get some from? Is it the guy who's the owner getting off again? Or is it one of the 5? At the end of the day, she getting what she want. She want dick. And she got it. According to her statements, brother. Now,
Jado said earlier too, he was like, I wonder what she looked like at 20, in her 20s. Exactly what she looks like right now, except man. A little prettier. That's all.
But look, Roger. I'm wanting everybody to say it. Say she's a loser. You can play a basketball game and lose a season. You lose, but you're not a failure because you can come back the next season. But a failure is when you aren't in the position physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally to win at all, whether it's directly or indirectly, due to your decisions. That is a failure. I'm trying to get you to say she's a failure.
Hey, Gold P, I agree with what you're saying, and I agree with Rod and Truth Tell. I agree with all. We're playing semantic games, bro. It means the same thing. She's a failure and a loser, man. It's interchangeable, bro. Why are we playing games with this stuff, bro?
I want Roger to say she's a failure.
I think Roger, I don't know, Roger may have a problem with that term.
I know. It ain't that. It ain't that.
I get what you're doing, Gold P.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is.
Go ahead.
I told y'all. I have admitted that I do believe the Bible. And I started reading it, you know what I'm saying, trying to be a better quote unquote Christian. And, you know, Jesus said he didn't come to condemn the world. So I ain't coming to condemn the lady. I don't even really care about the lady. I'm just doing it for content purposes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to condemn her. At the end of the day, she could possibly change her ways. And there may be some guy who's 65 years old and he might be a widower. And maybe he wants a woman for companionship. So he can get that 42-year-old because that's a hot young thing to him. He's 65. Now, is that going to happen? I wouldn't bet my money on it. Real talk. I bet your money on it, but I ain't going to bet mine.
So, you know Roger, the word failure is too heavy for you. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not that it's too heavy. The thing is she's still alive. She still has a chance to change. She can change. If she changes, she will have a legitimate shot at a divorced man or a widower. If she changes. Now, her having a shot the way she thinks she got a shot is probably never going to actually happen. Because as a man who's had his 42nd birthday already, my thing is like, if why would I be looking at you? So she don't have the option she believes she has. And I do believe she thinks because she's probably not fat and she's not ugly, that she is in a place that she's just not in.
Roger, you just refuse to say because you can't say,
I
yeah,
didn't come to
she's a
condemn
loser.
her.
I
didn't come
if
to
you
condemn
call a
her.
person a loser, you condemning them.
No. When you lose, you're a loser. I'm saying what
Okay.
happened.
So
I'm
when you
reporting the
fail,
truth
you're a
about what happened.
failure.
So we playing semantic games. It means the
Hey,
same
Jado,
thing. fellas.
no, let me ride
I'm
on
going.
Roger, man.
Let me let you cook, bro. Let me let you cook.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, brother,
Let me ride Roger, man.
if she changes her ways, she could win one day. Do I expect it to happen? No. At this point, she has not won. I don't think she will ever win. But I'm not wishing. I'm not going to be in the spirit of wishing negative on any particular person. So she's still alive. She got a chance.
Did Michael Jordan lose games?
Absolutely.
So when he lost games, he was a loser, right?
Got to deal with that. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to deal with that. But he wasn't a failure because he came back and won them games, right?
Well, I mean, it wasn't just.
Did he come back and win those games, right?
He won championships. It's a lot of people that won
championships.
Games.
Oh, even better. He won championships.
Go, P. I see what you're doing. Why you bringing Michael Jordan into it? You just. You know
I want Roger to say. I want Roger to say it, man.
You want me to condemn this lady?
I didn't say condemn. You said condemn. I'm saying she a failure. Now if she she changes her direction according to you, you think she won't. Then she is a failure.
She does have a shot. I mean, she's not the
everybody has a shot.
Yeah, and
everybody has a shot, Roger.
I think it's extremely improbable that she'll ever win.
Then
I don't ever see that happening.
Say it, Roger.
I listen to her talk.
Roger.
I don't think she'll ever win.
No, Roger. Say it, Roger.
Now, brother, all I'm
free
doing,
yourself, brother.
All I'm
free
doing,
your mind, brother.
It ain't got nothing to do with me, brother. It's not my job to condemn her. That's all. I'm just not condemning her. That's all.
Okay, so Michael Jordan is a winner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got championships to prove.
Absolutely. He won championships.
Well, hold on, y'all. I think a loser is actually worse than a failure. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all the same.
It is all the same, but I feel like the word loser is an exaggerated term of failure. Like if somebody say, "Hey, you're a failure," I'll be like, "All right, it might affect me emotionally or mentally."
That's all it is. Everybody thinks that word means different. Yeah. Because when you lose something, you failed at it. When you lose something, you failed at it.
Yeah. This is between me and Roger, man.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
This is me and Roger all day.
I get it.
Hey,
this
man.
is me and Roger, brother.
All I'm saying is the way she looks, she does have a chance to win. And I'm being real about it. She does look like somebody who could win if she just changed her position. There's plenty of men who would take a 42-year-old woman that looks like her because she don't got kids, she not ugly, and she ain't fat. She has an actual shot. Now, the fact that she's wasting her potential is dumb as I don't know what, but that's on her at the end of the day. But
she's failing, Roger.
She has a great shot.
So she's failing, Roger.
I mean,
now, Roger, to that point though, so she's in, I call it second and possibly third wife territory, right? Or for an older gentleman, older gentleman, second wife territory, meaning that he's already married, divorced, he already produced the kids, he's got his heirs or whatever, that and the third, he's going to give his inheritance to his kids. We get all of that. But, if the gentleman is divorced and he's older, now she's in second wife territory, possibly third wife, depending on the age of the gentleman, right?
Absolutely.
So but as far as her being in like first wife, young, fit and in shape, no kids, highly desirable first wife territory, she's well past that now.
So she failed.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to look at it that way, but
So
but I agree with you.
say it, Roger. Say it,
I
Roger.
agree with you. She can still no. She can still win just based on Rogers what he's talking about, which is if she changes, she still has the looks and something else going for her. But she's got to change everything about what she's doing. She's failing in the sense that she's dealing with a guy who's younger. She's talking about his emotional issues and everything else, and that he's not ready for marriage and all this other stuff, and what she's not ready for. So and Roger, I know you when you talk, right, you say that men and women are not the same, and I agree with you on that, physically, biologically, emotionally, and all this other stuff. But what I do condemn is the similar behaviors as it relates to hypocrisy, right? Meaning that when men and women do the exact same thing, but women okay the behavior, the negative behavior of the women, but condemn men when they do the exact same thing. That's where I call it the hypocrisy, and that's what she's doing. She's up there woman-splaining, and even worse. And I'm gonna get into this real quick: the PhD babble, which I don't really like, but she's woman-splaining while women are actually blessing off on her behavior. Whereas when Kevin Samuel was doing his thing and actually based on his life experience and his professional experience, he was getting a lot of criticism and hate. And basically condemnation. Meanwhile, this woman should be getting the same level of criticism from women that Kevin Samuels got. But the thing is that they're blessing off on her behavior, and therein lies the hypocrisy, right? Right?
I mean,
Hey, Roger.
hypocrisy is definitely there at the end of the
Okay.
day.
Hey, Roger.
And the thing is, I'm going to say men and women are looking for different things, but she said enough dumb stuff that you can jump on her for the hypocrisy. She created great positions for people to attack her. She did that.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
That
So
is not
that's
hypocrisy, y'all.
yeah. So
That
when
is
you
not
say men and women
hypocrisy.
are different, that's kind of what it is. I'm pointing out when they have similar behavior. Now, there's one other thing I want to say, and then I got to get back to my workout, and I'm going to go back to listening in the clouds, and then I'll comment. Whenever you guys say something that I can add to. But check this out. This is the one thing, and you know how I feel about this, Roger. I consider myself a self-proclaimed mid-level. Well, I'm more than mid-level academic, right? I'll say I'm advanced right at this point, but at the very least, I can say that I'm a mid-level to trending toward advanced level academic, right? And this is what I hate with, and this is what I hate with people who have all these certifications. This woman has a PhD, or at least presumably she has a PhD. She's been certified. She's went to all of these colleges, right? But what is she doing? She's getting up here using her certifications and hiding behind it, and putting out misinformation, and then not even living the life and presenting herself in a way that's consistent with her credentialing and certifications. You see what I'm saying? This is where it actually runs into people questioning, her credentialing, her schooling, and even whether or not she's a PhD, because of the hypocrisy and how she's living her life. And then not only that, she's professing to other people what they should do as a life coach, this, that, and the third, while she's not doing it herself. And this is why people question your credentialing. And I hate when people hide behind their PhDs and all of their academic and intellectual, intellectualism to justify their nonsense. You see what I'm saying? That's the one thing I don't know if you guys mentioned that, but you always have to look at that, because this is a real thing that people actually do, and people they lose jobs behind this because they say they're certified in this, that, and the third, and they do all of this crazy stuff, and then you find out that they're not really credentialed the way they actually say they are. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Hey, Roger. Two things.
Let me say, before you say that, let me say this.
Okay,
Because it's going to be about the education piece.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't nobody force her to say she was credentialed? She chose to do that on her own. Y'all keep that in mind.
Nobody asked her. Yeah, nobody asked her.
Now the thing
nobody
is,
cared.
when you say what your credentials are, you include in this academic way, such as being a PhD. You can't fault me for having a question about you when you don't sound like you're intelligent. Because the one thing you're supposed to sound like when you have a PhD is an intelligent person. You may be talking about something that's not your expertise, but you at least supposed to sound intelligent. You're supposed to be able to get through a conversation where I never question your intelligence. Now, I told y'all the stuff she said. There's no way I can't question her. I'm dumb if I don't question her intelligence after listening to the stuff she put together. So it just is what it is. So if you don't,
can I give a tidbit to the ladies?
Well, let me
Roger?
just say real quick, and then you got to show.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, no, hold on. I had two things.
But I don't want you to change the subject. He's gonna say something along these lines, though. And the thing is this: if you have a PhD or any degree from any school, and you cannot actually articulate yourself and sound intelligent, don't tell people you got that. It's not a help. It's not helping.
I agree
with
with that.
School.
I agree with that.
You. It ain't helping anybody. If you really do have credentials like that, and you cannot articulate yourself in an intelligent way, just don't mention it. Just keep it to yourself.
I agree.
I wanted to give a tidbit for I just wanted to give a tidbit for the ladies. Just so y'all know, when men have conversations amongst each other, no matter what level of conversation it is, we never bring up our education levels. We could be talking about academics. We could be talking about world affairs. We could be talking about basketball. We could be talking about the foul my man just committed on me when I crossed him over. Ain't nobody ever gonna bring up college credentials. For some reason, y'all think it's valuable enough to us to make sure you tell us before you even really start talking. And that's your mistake. It's not. So you can take that lesson and grow with it. Good luck, ladies.
Hey, Roger.
Yes, sir.
Two things. Floyd Thompson said, first wife failure, second wife loser. Sears Rob say, true goal P, she failed at her admitted goal. There you go, Roger.
Shout out to Floyd. What can I say? Shout out to Floyd.
I'm not saying she's a failure. I'm not saying she's a failure or loser or not, but I don't think she failed at her goal. This woman's goal has never been to be the wife of a productive man.
Ding, 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 ding. There you go.
That's never been her goal. It's not even her goal right now, because when you ask her what she's doing right now, it's not what a woman looking for a husband would be doing. She's getting, she's dating like 5 dudes, and she's been getting banged out by some younger dude, and she don't want no dude that don't got no kids. But you ain't got no kids, so you want to be a stepmother? No, I don't want to be a stepmother. What the hell are we talking about, man? She has no desire to be a wife.
And I don't know, man. Like for me, like I think hypocrisy. I heard that word or whatever. Or I don't agree with that, man.
People are slamming her for being a hypocrite, but my whole thing is she told you she was an old lady from Jump Street. What did you expect? Go ahead.
She's running game, man. That's all it is. It's not hypocrisy. It's game. And I agree with what Truth Teller said. She's out. That's why I say she's out here hustling, man. She's out here trying to get it the best way she can. And again, loser, failure, I think is the same thing. That's just me, my personal opinion or whatever. But what if she's playing a different game, man? That's what I look at it as. She's playing a different game.
Yeah, she is. She's trying to get these sucker chicks who talk about they want to get a husband after living a life of being a hoe. That's what she's trying to get. So, I mean, and it's working, because they'll sign on to anything except a man telling them the truth and telling them what they should do. They won't listen to him saying that, but they will listen to some strange chick that's been single. She's 42.
But the fact that she's in close proximity to Nick Cannon, we talking about major people, Cam Newton, Paul Pierce, Hall of Fame. Like we talking about, she's in the same space as them. So that presents opportunity. I mean, if somebody if she gonna get some vitamin D, you got to be in the proximity of the dude. You know what I mean? So the fact that and she's on like the Breakfast Club, they look at that and say, "Oh wow, she's getting around these high level people." You know what I'm saying? Maybe I got a shot too.
Yeah, but here's the real problem. The real problem is the average broad will think that they can make it to her position, just like they think they can make it to a Sexy Red position. That Sexy Red is in the same proximity as Dr. Bryant, so-called Dr. Bryant. She's been out there on large stages, out there with Drake and all them. I'm saying a lot of these broads have that same mindset that they can do. The average think that they can do the same thing. And that's where I think our challenge lies.
I mean, that is true. But I'm gonna say, Joe, look, I did not come out here to dog the lady out, but I do keep it real. She is in proximity to these men. Okay, when you a man in certain positions, you know people bust down for you on a regular basis. All right, and sometimes you hit a chick just because she's there. It's not that you really attracted like that, but she's there and available, and you got time. So at the end of the day, you know, she just said, "Hey, I'm taking out my IUD so I can get pregnant." Now, y'all just put two and two together. You just built yourself a name up because you got on the right platforms, meaning Nick Cannon and Cam Newton. Now you've been able to get on all these other places and get around all these other men. It's not a coincidence she's now taking out the birth control. Why? Because if I'm around these men may hit it just because I'm there. Now, let's be realistic, y'all. Just about every man done hit a chick. I'm not saying everyone did, but there's a lot of men who done hit a chick just because she was there and available. In other circumstances, you would not have touched her. You see what I'm saying? So
Roger, I don't recall that portion of my life. I'm sorry, sir. I can't co-sign that. I just don't have those memories,
I co-sign
sir.
that, Roger.
I can't. I don't have those memories, sir. They're not in my memory bank. So I cannot prove that they happened or didn't happen. All I'm saying is I can't agree.
They're in mine. They're in mine. I recall them. This is therapy session right now. I admit it, Roger.
Well, I definitely can't tell y'all I ain't hit a chick because she was there and available. I definitely can't say that. I done did it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And I get it. She around some guys with some money. Let me get rid of this birth control. So just in case I catch them slipping, maybe I'll come up with a baby. They know I'm 42. Now, she ain't came out and said that she taking, well, I mean, you got to be smart about this. Is she going to be taking fertility pills or something like that? I'm sure she is, because she want to catch somebody slipping at the end of the day. Now, I hear all that stuff about I want a family. But if you can get around some multi-millionaires and somebody slip up, boom, she good, at least for the next 18 years. And that'll take up basically to retirement.
Well, Roger,
I just caught a
we have to
flashback of
come
a
back
fat chick. You're making my PTSD flare up, sir.
I'm just
making my PTSD.
Hey, I'm just saying what it is, man.
Hey, Roger.
I caught a flare.
Need to talk to Dr. Bryant, man. Talk to Dr. Bryant.
Roger, we have to come back to because you and I have admitted to this, but truth teller, being that he's a truth teller, just said he don't have any memory of
he can't recall.
Now, truth teller, truth teller, man, come on, man.
Hey,
you know what they say when a person has some kind of colic issue, right? They have to admit it. Come on, Truth.
He's a married man. I gotta let his statement stand. He's a married man. But I'm gonna say shout out to Kevin 3905. He said, "Sir, we have never done such a thing."
see, Kev, you guys, hey, when we're admitting our faults, whether it's in the past, we have to admit these things, brother. True, I know you are in a wonderful relationship right now, but you are here to help us get through our trials and tribulations in our past.
Here, I help, Gopi. I agree with you 100%. If you have such memories and such events in your life, you should admit to it. But for those who don't have those memories and those events, I can't ask them to lie, Gopi. I can't do it.
And on that note, because I do respect marriage, I'm gonna say Champ Cough for Life is here, and I'm gonna give him the
mic. Yeah, Champ. Go ahead, Champ.
What's going on, Champ? How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just surviving this rain out here. But in all seriousness about this lady, I see why parts of the black community gets jacked up because of women like her. Because what she's doing is that she's bashing men at the same time, she's being a 304 thought kind of psychiatrist woman. And women like to hear this woman go after men and everything else so they can then justify carrying on with their behavior and everything else. And they can go up there and echo what she's doing. Well, this lady, she's a psychiatrist. I listen to her. Nothing wrong with going up there having multiple men and all that type of stuff, being unmarried and everything else. What's wrong with that? So she's encouraging a lot of black women, to go ahead and do whatever, sleep with other men and all that type of stuff, carry on with the sock culture and everything else. And very soon, as let's say, for example, Sexy Red and Sukihana, if they somehow get half or 25% reform, they might go in this type of profession, get a fake degree and all that type of stuff, and start going on to these platforms, interviewing men like Cam Newton, Paul Pierce, Nick Cannon, and everything else, to start condemning them for their actions and everything else. But yet she's doing the same thing. Okay, she's doing the same thing, and there's nothing wrong with women doing that. So I mean, the people who listen to her. I mean, you guys are just jacked up. You're jacked up. I'm gonna land my plane there.
I don't want to say shout out to Landon. Landon, if you're listening right now, brother, I seen what you did with the Cash App thing, because I didn't say the whole Cash App that he had a way where he sent the message. I didn't even realize people was doing that, because he was talking about something yesterday. I gotta read it because he sent the money, y'all. I gotta respect all money, and because I did say he sent the message saying normalize. And there was like a secondary message. I didn't know people was doing this with Cash App. It said black men have completely normalized being more nurturing than black women. And I don't know if that really fits in today's conversation, but I gotta respect the money. And now that I know these type of things are happening, I'll notice it in the future. So shout out to Landon for that. I'm on point now. I'm on point. I just hadn't seen that beforehand, so I got it now. Okay, I understand it now. Okay. Now, I'm gonna say this to I mean, you make a point, because at the end of the day, girls gonna imitate dumb women because there's just so many in the black community. Now, that's not me saying black women have to be dumb. A lot of them simply choose to be dumb. Just is what it is. And that ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got no daughter. So you can't accuse my daughter of being out there and just being dumb. Ain't got nothing to do with me. It's just, that's y'all choice, and it is what it is. I mean, she came on that public platform with Paul Pierce and said a bunch of dumb stuff. I didn't make her do it. Okay? I'm just reporting back what she said, y'all. I know the whole thing about her dating multiple men, and then you got this the young dude, and that's what I'm calling him for now, the young dude who steady get it from time to time. And she admitted that on the public platform while she's trying to tell other people how to get themselves together so they can be in a marriage. And yet the stuff don't make sense. And she said a lot of other dumb things. Yeah, that clip went viral, but that wasn't the only dumb thing she said. It was plenty of dumb stuff she said. Go ahead, Chad.
But here's the thing. Yeah, but she's also cancerous too. She's very cancerous with what she's doing and everything else. And because of some of the things that she's saying and suggesting and everything, she's going to, just continue on, spreading a lot of, mental instability to some of these women and everything else, and they end up making very bad, poor choices and everything else. And then they go up there and they blame men for their failure.
Well, so women are going to make those choices anyway. They're just using Dr. Bryant as a conduit for confirmation in order to affirm those choices. That's really all it is. But they're going to make those choices with or without her. Yeah,
True,
they're going to make those bad
but
choices.
it's just going to get worse when they keep on listening to her, because they're going to probably echo her. They're going to echo her what she said and everything else. They're going to start becoming co-ologists. They're going to quote her.
Well, I'm gonna say this: if you listen to an old lady who ain't never been married, and you take her words very seriously, honestly, that's a you problem. You're choosing to be stupid. She out here trying to get money, okay? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, y'all. It's a lot of people who do unsavory stuff to get some money. Now, I'm not saying she don't want to get married, because women are that way. That's just who they are as people. They do want to get married. You know, she may have already given up. But she don't want to say she's giving up. And that may just be part of the hustle at the end of the day. But if you listening to a woman who's 30 years old and ain't never been married tell you how to act so you can get married, the only thing they really should be saying is, this how I messed up and you shouldn't copy this. I did this dumb thing. Don't do this. I did this dumb thing that knocked me out the ballpark. You don't want to copy this. I made these choices. This didn't help me at all. You can talk from that perspective, and I'm sure you will have plenty to say. But if a woman is listening to a 30-year-old woman in America who did not have the ability to secure a husband, and you're going to take marital advice from them or any relationship advice from them, you about stupid as they come. That's just real talk, and it's your own fault.
So
it's your own fault.
Here's a couple of things that you guys mentioned. Okay, obviously she's a nice looking woman, so she could have had, she gets plenty of interest from men. There's no doubt about that. You guys mentioned that she has access to higher level men, right? Celebrities that most people don't have access to. And the thing about it is, Paul Pierce did something very innocuous, right? Just by simply questioning her, and he put her on the spot. See, because there's a couple of things going. She's nice looking. She's a little bit older. She's got these credentials. She runs around, giving all this advice and everything. And the thing about it is that no one has ever thought to question her. No one has ever thought to put her on the spot, because what they'll do, especially as a psychologist or a psychoanalyst or a behavioral specialist, they'll go, look, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. I'm not the topic of discussion here, right? So that's how she's been getting away with it.
Well, let me get one slight correction. She's gone to places where she didn't believe that was going to happen. That because there's plenty of people who want to talk, who want to ask those certain things. She ain't going to those places. She going to the place where she think that will never come up. So I do agree with you. I just want to say she deliberately went to play where she think that wasn't going to come up.
Yeah, but she could do just like what I said. I said, hey, so this is not about me. We're talking. The topic of discussion is, and just move that away. See, and honestly, she could have done that with Mr. Pierce. She actually could have done that with Mr. Pierce, and he pressed her in a way that wasn't what you call it, aggressive, right? He did it. He just did it naturally. I don't even think he was thinking about it. It just kind of came out that way. She didn't get defensive. She didn't deflect. She didn't start doing on try to change the subject or anything else. He kept it in an innocuous way, basically focused on her, and she's never had that, right?
Let me say this.
She was able to deflect. She did get the conversation away. She did reveal a little bit, which I question all of this stuff that she's saying. I don't know to what percentage she's lying about or whatever, but I'm pretty sure she's lying about some of this stuff. But she did deflect. She did reveal a little bit, but she did deflect and turn the conversation around. If you really pay attention, she deflected quite a bit.
And I'm gonna say what you said about her talking to other people. See, when you're her client, yeah, it is about you. It's not about her. She didn't have a client. She was on the show. She the guest. So that means it's about her. You don't bring guests on the show to talk about other people. You bring guests on the show to talk about the guest.
Okay, so in that situation, she was the actual guest? Okay.
Yeah, she was the guest on his show. So she is the subject matter. The fact that she's not trying to talk about herself as the subject matter is her deflecting. And at the end of the day, the shows we've seen her on, the shows I've seen her on and did a report on, because I reported about the Nick Cannon one and the Cam Newton one. This is just the third time I'm doing on the Paul Pierce one. She was the guest. It wasn't them. She was the guest, which means she the subject matter. So she naturally deflects away from men because she don't want those questions to come up about her. And at the end of the day, as a woman who can't get married in this society, ain't nothing you can tell me about relationships.
Yeah. And and I give a little props to Paul Pierce, for putting her, in the corner like that, by questioning her and everything else. You try to deflect and everything else. I kind of wish he would have went a little bit further. by, calling her out, saying that she's, I mean, it would have been messed up, but so what? You're on my show. I'll be saying straight up, look, what I question you, and I kind of think, and I look at you funny style, I kind of think you're a fraud. I would have said that right there.
Paul Pierce. My bad, Roger.
Now, I
Paul,
look and say Paul
yep.
Pierce may not even think in that direction. And you know what I'm saying? Because it's all about what does Paul Pierce believe. But at the end of the day, Paul Pierce ain't necessarily trying to challenge her.
No.
Sometimes we expect people to do stuff that ain't their lane, and that's what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? That's not Paul Pierce's lane as far as I know. You know, if she came to my channel, then yeah, I'm gonna question a few things, not because she's saying what she's saying. I'm gonna question some things because she say stupid stuff, and then she throws out, "I'm a PhD," and I personally don't get PhD sounding stupid. I don't get that. That's just me, y'all. I just don't get a PhD that sounds stupid. To me, at the very least you can do is sound intelligent if you're a PhD. I don't care what we talking about. Go ahead, Jado.
No, I was just saying, Paul Pierce. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand what the platform is. It's not like, yeah. Anyway, I mean, most of it's entertainment. I mean, 99% of it's entertainment or whatever. But the whole thing is, he asked a powerful question to her. If you guys look at the entire, well, not the entire video, but he asked her, "Look, you're a therapist, psychologist, whatever she is. I don't know." She talks about all this trauma and all these relationship problems and all that stuff. He asked her, "Why at this age do you want to get married and have children?" And she deflected from that. She never answered that question. She went on a long spiel about her jargon and stuff like that, but she never directly answered that. She has a decent little mouthpiece on her, man, as far as game, man. She has a decent little mouthpiece.
And you know what she also did? She, when Paul Pierce made a statement that she wanted to highlight about the fact that Paul Pierce said something like, a marriage is for older people and poor people.
Yes.
And her response really was about marriage is a better thing if you actually got money.
It was the actual opposite.
Talked about the thing that he said.
Yes.
She was in a total opposite direction.
He reversed the whole thing. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's all game, man. It's all game.
Now, maybe Paul caught it. Maybe Paul just let it go.
Depends
on what he's trying to do on his show at the end of the day. And y'all, there are people who ain't gonna bother you about every single thing because people are only gonna spend so much time. It is a show at the end of the day. People ain't gonna get into every single thing somebody does. But my thing is, y'all, I gotta say, I came out in defense of her because she told us she was old from start. She told us she was a UFO from the beginning. Why would we have any real positive expectation about anything she does at this particular point? I personally don't even get that. So for me to say that she deceived us and, well, now look, when Paul asked her what's going on, you ain't figured that out. What y'all think she was doing? Okay, I know she ain't married. What you think I thought she was doing? Dues. I thought she was doing dues. That's literally what I thought. She is in her 40s. I believe she's having sex with guys. Do I think she's having sex with multiple guys? Yeah, that's normal amongst a lot of black women. Especially somebody who looks somewhat decent in their 40s. Of course she having sex with multiple dudes. How do I know that? Because black men ain't trying to claim a lot of women who's 40 and above. And if there ain't nobody trying to claim you, what happens by default? That means you start having sex with multiple guys. Because this guy ain't claiming you. It is what it is. Okay?
Well, I think she her as a person, I just think she's in the game, like Jado saying, she's in the game trying to win, but using her perceived so-called sex appeal to get in spaces and win.
I'm not saying none of that ain't true, but at the end of the day, an unclaimed 40-year-old woman, what y'all think she doing? That's all I'm saying. What do y'all think an unclaimed? I'm not saying there ain't a woman who can get claimed and they in their 40s, but an unclaimed 40-year-old woman, what y'all think she doing?
She
So
out there bringing that time, Roger.
So when Paul asked this question, she just said to me what was abundantly clear from Jump Street. If you ain't got no man, nobody will claim you, but you are dealing with men, the chance of you not having sex with multiple men is so ridiculous. I don't even want to know what the number is.
So she's the jump off, Roger.
But hold on, because Rael came up, so let me let Rael get the flow. Rael,
answer that question.
Is she a jump off?
So she's the jump off.
If she's dealing with men, but she's unclaimed, it is what it is, bro.
So she's the jump off.
What else would she be?
I want you to say, why we go through this, Roger?
What? I'm not even disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you, brother. I'm just saying, what else she gonna be?
Just say she's messing with
men and she's
just say she's the jump off, Roger. Just say she's the jump off.
Yeah, she'll jump off.
Oh, thank you, Roger.
I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you, brother.
No, I want you to say it, Roger.
If you
I want everybody to know that you will say it out loud, brother.
I mean, it's my thing. That ain't no man. I told you, women. I done told you, black community. They America's hoes at the end of the day. That's how they see in America. So that's not even a trick question or nothing to me. They are considered America's hoes.
I didn't present. I just want you to. I want to get you accustomed to saying certain things, Roger.
Like, bro, I'm the person who said the truth, which is black women are considered to be America's hoes.
Okay.
Every group of men mess with black women when they just trying to learn about messing with women and don't feel comfortable dealing with their own, and then they go back to their own. Every group of men does that in America.
Hey, Roastmaster said, "Stop bullying Roger."
All right, well, let's let Rael get in.
Go ahead, Rael. What's that, Rael?
Rael.
What up, man? What up? Piece of the
What's up, Rob? What's up, Rob?
Peace, guy.
Wait, Rael, real quick. Did you get your wrench? Did I give you yours?
Nah, not yet.
Well, when you get a moment, say something in the chat. Well, I'll go look for it. You said something already. I'll go look for it. All right, go ahead.
I love that Paul Pierce did this. I mean, he goes by the moniker The Truth. I mean, that's his name. You know what I'm saying? And he's just one of those dudes. Like, what I like about Pierce is, like, he's just gonna say it what it is. It ain't gonna be like attack mode or anything like that. He just gonna just say what it is. Like, and yeah, especially with his laid back style too, you know. And men like have two purposes for a woman, maybe three if they hire a woman to work for them, but typically it's two purposes. Either a man is going to be interested in a woman for sex, or he's going to be interested in her for marriage and family. That is it. There is no in between. Okay. Dating for men, the purpose of dating for men is sex. The purpose for dating for women is sex too, but it's also an attachment there that really centers around them trying to solicit or get gifts or money from dudes. So basically, prostitution. And so, what these podcasts are really showing is, because now we're starting to see a lot of these old hoes get on these podcasts and really just tell on themselves. You know, you got the Melissa Fords out here, a lot of these females out here, you know, for way back, that a lot of dudes was like, yo, man, like, that's the chick right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, early 2000s, mid 2000s. And we, you know, time has really flown by really fast. So we've been able to see these chicks like age. And I have read many material by women psychologists. I have not seen any woman psychologist justify promiscuity in women at all. Matter of fact, the women that I've read who talk about promiscuity say that it's a sign that when you see a promiscuous woman, it's typically a sign of trauma. So, what you have out here, is these types of females who the main objective. People really don't really understand it, especially women. Whenever another woman encourages you to be promiscuous, she hates you. She hates you because sex affects women uh, differently than it affects men. Women get emotionally attached to men through sex. This is the reason why when women give up their virginity to a guy, he's like their first. He's considered, she refers to him, you know what I'm saying, as her first. When we have sex with a chick for the first time, we don't call that chick our first. We don't give a shit. Like, we just happy to get a piece. So it means something from a psychological perspective, understandably. So um and I like to take it back to the old terms, because when you take it back to the old terms, see, when you start introducing stuff like sugar baby and friends with benefits and all this other type jargon, it really actually takes away from what these chicks really represent, man. Man, these chicks is out here prostituting, man. Modern dating is nothing but a form of prostitution. You know what I'm saying? And so when you really, hold on one second.
All right, well, let's get somebody else in while he's away. Maybe he's taking a call or something or whatever. But we're gonna keep the show flowing, okay? We're gonna keep the show flowing.
I agree with Rayo. I mean, we do use a lot of euphemisms, man, in our language to soften the language to kind of hide what the truth really is, man. And that's why, I mean, when I say hustler, I'm basically saying the same thing he's saying. I'm softening up the language, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of time we find ourselves doing that, but he's absolutely right with that, man.
But no, I agree with the fact that she is a hustler because she's trying to get paid off this stuff. Y'all think she's doing all this stuff for free? No, she created a name for herself. She was able to get to access to the right platforms, and I'm pretty sure she's charging some form of fee wherever she goes, at this particular point, and she didn't work with people in the past. So, maybe she did the free stuff. A lot of times you do the free stuff so you can get to the money. So I'm pretty sure at this point, she's charging folks. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wouldn't pay her to come on my show because she obviously ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a hoe to tell folks how to be a hoe. That ain't what I push at the end of the day. My thing is be able to recognize a hoe. Now, I'm not going to say she a hoe, but what did she tell us? She said, I'm dating, 5 dudes at the same time?
Right.
That don't sound like the thing wholesome girls do. Okay?
Right.
I ain't heard them doing that. I know who has messed with 5 dudes at the same time. Hoes. Is what it is.
Well, hold on. And like I said, I like to go back to the old terms because the old terms bring you back to the reality. When you say virgin, when you say whore, like, those are clear-cut terms. There is no wiggle room there. Like, she, because when you don't when you don't use the actual terms to define it, that allows women to be in that world where there is ambiguous, it's vague, it's unclear. That's where they destroy you. You know what I'm saying? They like things to be like, corrupt females like things to be unclear and vague. So they could come back and say, well, technically you ain't this, so I don't have to do that for you. I don't have to be loyal to you. I don't have to do that. But if you switch it around, if she your girlfriend, quote unquote, and you go out there and smash another chick, she go ape shit. And it's like, well, technically, I ain't your husband, so I don't have to give you that. But they're not going to take it like that. And so when you put it in the actual terms, when you actually put it in the actual terms of what they represent, it brings more clarity to the situation, especially for younger females. Let's be clear, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fellas up here can attest to this because we all been 18, 19, 20. I don't know if she has children, but typically a female like her in our group probably had a baby by 22, 23, something like that. When we were coming up, we, especially most of us are Gen Xers, they had a baby young, 21, 22, 23. You know what I'm saying? We 18, 19, we just getting out of high school, 20. They 30, 40. Man, these are chicks, man, that we used to just smash through like nothing. Like they were not special. They were just as silly as the young females were. The only difference is that they were just a little bit more desperate than the younger females. But they were just as silly. You know what I'm saying? I used to, man, I could tell you like the chicks, like as far as like the older females, because what used to happen was they used to think they were so intelligent and so mature because they were older than you. So they used to think like, oh, I could just run game on this little young nigga. Like I got him wrapped around my finger. Like they would think like that. And then you put them in a place and they be shook like, damn. Because they will say things like, you know, well, like, man, you're really mature. And it will be true to a certain degree for certain guys. But then they would try to say like, well, a lot of the men, I'm around, like they're not mature. So they would try to play you like off of like the older men, when the reality was the older men didn't want to deal with them on a serious level because they were old. So yeah, they just gonna want to have sex because they looking at you as an old chick. So they like, why am I gonna link up with you on some wife type stuff and you old? And so, but I wouldn't fall for that type of stuff. Some dudes do, but I wouldn't. But the point is that they would try to position themselves as being more mature than what they were. And you would find yourself putting an older female. Now, mind you, we're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21, chick 30, 40, sometimes 50. The chick never actually grew up. She actually, at 50 years old, we could see this female at her age. This is like a high school teenage girl talking. This is not how a woman talks. I've been around women in my family who have been married. My great grandmother was married for 50 years. My great grandmother, I used to sit around and hear my great grandmother talk about females who were in the church when they started going wayward and how they were foolish. They had no home training. That was a constant thing I used to hear from my great grandmother about other females in the community. Females had no home training. They shouldn't have been out in the street. If you were a woman and you in the street after dark, the only thing you could get into is some trouble, which we know what that meant. So I know what a woman sounds like, and I know what a girl sounds like. And when you hear these types of females at this particular age, they sound like they're 14, 15 years old, and their number one job, and I'm gonna say this and I'll end it here. The number one job for a woman that's on some whorish type shit, that's a whore. Like, we gotta say it. The number one job for her is not to have sex for money and gifts. Yeah, that's a part of it. That's a part of the play. But the number one job for that type of female is to corrupt the younger females into becoming her. That's her number one job. That is her number one focus because she does not want to be out there. Think about it. And y'all seen this before. If you ever seen it, for the men who ever seen a group of women standing on the corner selling ass, a lot of them, they be out there having fun. They be joking and laughing. Now, it ain't funny. Like, it's sad. It's pitiful. But as long as they got some other females out there with them, it's cool. But if you ever seen a woman by herself out on the corner selling that ass, That face looks sad, boy. That face looks sad in a motherfucker, boy, because she ain't got nobody. Because the reality of what she's doing is she's holding it all by herself. It ain't no we over here and we gonna stick together as a group of people. Nah, it ain't gonna be none of that. You know what I'm saying? And if you notice in this era of time, you're more likely to see females stick together on that whole shit than on chastity. And they keep trying to use chastity to apply to men. No, sexual prowess has always been something that's celebrated in men. Sexual chastity is something that is celebrated in women. So they'll try to come to men and judge men based off of the sexual chastity standard that they're supposed to live up to. And that's why it don't work. And that's why Paul Pierce was in on the way he was and on this other chick, his co-host, I think yesterday, a couple days before.
Well said. Exactly. That was the point I was trying to get to you earlier about this lady and everything else.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say, now there's a reason that I call this 42 and cooked. You know, toward the beginning of the show, Paul Pierce was trying to clear up some stuff because he said that the co-host, I'm assuming that's his co-host, was cooked. And, you know, he got some flack about it. If my memory's correct, she's something like, maybe she's like 36 or something like that. But she's an old lady too. Okay. You know, I don't believe she has children. If my memory's correct, based on the stuff she was saying. So she old and she ain't got no kids either. All right. Now, does she have a chance? Sure. Yeah. Anybody can say they had a chance, you know, but you 36 years old. Are you cooked? Yeah. She cooked for the most part. And Paul kind of was backing off his words because he didn't say it in a complimentary way. Now he's saying like, okay, well, I meant that in a complimentary way. And I was waiting for Dr. Bryant to come on here so I can clear that up. And that's what I'm saying, y'all. We do have this thing where we have been socialized to be afraid of black women. At the end of the day, shorty, you're 30 and past. Your chances just ain't good. It is what it is. I don't care what Paul say. Paul live a rich man's lifestyle. Okay. Now she did say her daddy rich. So maybe see somebody that Paul knew growing up or something like that. It's possible some level of connection there because her dad's rich. So Paul could just know her. You know what I'm saying? Paul said he was 47. I think she was back 36. Maybe they knew each other growing up or something. Or maybe Paul met her along the way as he became a very rich man. But at the end of the day, y'all, if we scared to tell women to their face that you old and the chance of you actually getting a husband one day ain't really there anymore, we can't expect much better from them. Which is why I say in defense of Dr. Bryant, she never told us she was young. We supposed to hear her and come up to the conclusion, okay, well, you old as dirt to be talking about getting married. That was the conclusion I came to instantly. A 40-year-old woman who's very entrenched in feminist ideology ain't got no shot at getting married. Now, you could be a 40-year-old woman saying, hey, you know what? I did some wrong things. I bought into some nonsense. I ain't falling into that no more. Okay, a woman like that, now you got a chance. And then they try to go on this whole thing about, well, being cooked is a good thing because it means you're ready to be eaten. It's not, you don't have to prepare it anymore. Why weren't you cooked at 22? That's my question. If you're going to even try to make it positive, why weren't you cooked at 22? Why did it take you 42 to be quote unquote cooked? You know, what the heck is going on here? Why does a woman got to be 36 years old to be cooked? Now, using the analogy, yes, you won't cook food for the most part. You do won't cook food. But why you old? Because at this point, it sounds like you was cooked, supposedly, if you really are cooked, and then you got left on the counter for years. Food does expire at some point.
Well, you got to keep in mind too, like what her position is as far as like her education, because this is the education piece is really the smoke screen. Because in other groups do they'll have respect for their their women getting educated, as long as them getting educated contributes to the family. See, it's never a thing about you're separated from the family because now you have a degree. You can go to many of these groups, and if those females don't still stick with the cultural type stuff, like they will excommunicate them. Whereas in our group, black females, they pursue which is ironic because they pursue education to try to prove that they can be independent from black men, while simultaneously when they hit the cock carousel for decades and they don't work, then they come back and then they make the argument, well, there's no good men. Well, it's like, well, wait a minute, like you're old now. Like, why are you expecting like I've had this conversation with numerous females and from other cultures, like especially like Africa. And I've asked them, does virginity give you a better chance of getting married? And they all agree, like, yes. And then I asked, like, well, if virginity gives you a better chance of getting married, why give it up before you get married? And it just be like crickets. It's like crickets because they don't even, most of the time when females decide to go in that direction, most of the time they're young. Like, we're not going to typically meet a female that's 27, 28 that decides, okay, now I'm just going to say F it. I'm just going to give up the virginity. It's like, in our group, it's like, because we know we used to have teenage pregnancy in Black America like crazy. It used to be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like, who were they watching? Like, who was showing them, like, it was okay to be out there and doing all this type of stuff? A lot of times they single moms, they single aunts, single kids, you know what I'm saying? All of that type of stuff. The females in their community, you know what I'm saying? They get around the wrong type of females and they have all of this influence over what they're doing. And so they start off on the wrong trajectory and they just keep adding on to that trajectory. They don't understand that no man is going to marry you based on your sex. We don't do that. Like, that's not what we do. Like, you can give us the best sex all you want to. Like, we've seen all these dudes in the industry run through all these chicks, the Melissa Fords, you name it. Man, how many of them chicks do we see get married? They didn't get married. That's why they're doing podcasts. The Joy Taylors, like all these type of, and we see what kind of behavior that they're willing to do to get ahead on some money type stuff. Okay, if that's how you want to move as a woman, I don't have a problem with a woman that's a prostitute. I don't have no problem with her wanting to prostitute herself. I just want her to accept the consequences of being a prostitute. Like, just accept it. Just like we see lazy dudes. Hey, if that nigga want to be lazy and be a bum on the street, guess what? We don't bother that dude. We don't be like, hey man, why you don't want to go get a job, man? Like, why you don't want to do that? Like, we don't do that. Like, that's a choice he made for whatever reason. Like, we don't get engaged like that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to these females that are failures, because if they really didn't want husbands, they wouldn't be out here talking about relationships. They do want it, but they know they passed the point of no return where they can't get it. And instead of them just owning it and accepting that and actually trying to say, you know what, like a dude that do 20 years for armed robbery, come back to his hood, say, hey, y'all, man, stay out of the trouble. We see countless black men start nonprofits, trying to former gang members. Don't do the gang stuff no more. They turn their life around. They say, hey, y'all don't get out there and do that type of stuff. I was stupid. I should have never did that. We don't see these females doing it for the next generation. Like, they're actually co-signing them to actually engage in the very behavior that has them where they are, that they're really complaining about, but they don't really want to accept the responsibility and accountability of how they even got there. And they don't even want to point the finger at who is really responsible at getting them there. Most of the time, it's their own mother.
Well said. Well said. Now, I got to say, shout out to Kevin 3905. He says, it's past Roger's bedtime, y'all. Well, yeah, we about to hit the 3-hour mark, but we going to go an extra half hour simply because we got a new guest, an Ivy Leaguer who stepped up to the plate. But before we go to him, I'm going to say shout out to Sarah Barra. She hits me with the $10 cash app. She says, paying for Rael's Ranch. Laugh out loud. Appreciate y'all. Well, I definitely appreciate you,
Salute.
and I'm sure Rael appreciates the rent fee, y'all. We got a new $10 rent fee. Shout out to Sarah. No, I'm just kidding on that. I'm just kidding. No rent fees, but shout out to Sarah. Appreciate that real talk. And let's get a flow to my main man. Salt don't work on ass. Now I'm saying ass as in donkey. That's what I'm doing. I'm not just cursing. I'm just saying ass as in donkey. Because he must mean donkey, or he can explain what he means. But I ain't just cursing to be cursing. I'm saying ass as in donkey. But go ahead, brother.
Salute to you, Roger. Salute to the panel. Shout out to the chat. What I'm saying is salt don't work on that pussy. See, because salt is a natural preservative. You rub it on the meat before the age of refrigerators. It lasts you a month, right? And see, this is what makes people like Dr. Bryant so dangerous. She will put emotions and feelings over people's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
It is dangerous for you to have children in your 40s.
Yes.
It's even more dangerous if you don't have the money and to afford the technical expertise. More importantly, and I don't know why I'm saying this because women don't really care, it's extremely dangerous for the child. All types of genetic shit starts happening after 35, right? But Dr. Bryant over here is telling you to rub salt on that coochie. But no, baby, it don't work like that, right? It just don't. God said, look, after 30, that poussoir is gone. After 30, the eggs are pretty much gone, right? You got a set number of eggs. You got a set number of years where that is going to be working. After that, it is what it is, right? But because women are literally putting women's health on the line just to be, and Roger's going to be very proud of me, just to be dysfunctional. See, I ain't even going to go to the masculine part.
See, I am proud. I am proud.
Just to be dysfunctional. Just to be dysfunctional is going around telling women to rub proverbial salt on that roast beef. Shame on you, Dr. Bryant. Shame on you, Michelle Obama, just because you should experience some shame. You gotta get you straight. Shame on you, Will Smith wife. And that's all I got.
Well, let me say this real quick before you say it, Jado.
Too.
All right, let me say it's real quick, Jada. I see you unmute, so I'm gonna let you get in there. Shout out to Kevin3905. He sent a $5 cash app in. He said 30 minutes of OT. Well, thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate that big time. Go ahead, Jado.
I'm just saying, like she used that Bible as a weapon too, a few times in that. If you guys sat and watched the whole thing, I know which I'm not advising anybody to for studying purposes or whatever, but research purposes. But she was referred to is it Sarah, right? Isn't it Sarah who had the baby at advanced age?
Abraham, Sarah. Yeah, she said it all wrong, but yeah, she did.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like she referred to being a Christian and the Bible several times in that thing, man. This is a wicked woman, man. This is a wicked woman, man. And I, like I said, I didn't come out just say, hoe or whatever, which I agree she is, but like, this is a wicked woman, man. She used that Bible as a weapon for other women to look at and say, yeah, okay, I can have a baby at 42, 45, whatever, advanced age or whatever.
Well, Jado,
yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up. Man, I'm so glad you brought that up. Christianity is the only religion where black women have been able to use and bastardize scripture to gain an upper hand on black men.
Yep.
You don't see that in Islam. You don't see that in Hinduism. You don't see it in Judaism. You know what I'm saying? So let's be very clear. Like, and this is because the church has skewed towards more. Let's be clear, man. When was the last time, man, you seen the church, man, talk about whores, man? Like, when was the last time? I remember when I used to come up being in church, they talked about it. I remember.
If a woman tells you she's a Christian, she's a former bop, or she's a bop and hide.
Come on, man. I mean, that's real. Like
Yeah.
black men, cause I love when a female says she's a Christian, like, cause a lot of times they'll use it as a cover. And I said, okay, well, Leviticus 21:7.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, Leviticus 21:7. I said, God says to man, do not wife a whore.
Mm-hmm.
I say, so what you talking about? And when you hit them with that scripture, boom, it's like, I remember I was on when I was in undergrad, and I was talking about that scripture to my homie at the time. And it was a white woman who had kids out of wedlock. And matter of fact, she was with this black dude. And she interrupted our conversation. She was like, the Bible doesn't say that. I said, yes, it does. She was like, I've been Christian my whole life. I never heard that. And I said, okay, well, you need to open that book back up and read. I said, because it does say that. I said, matter of fact, I got the Bible right here. I pulled the Bible out. At first, I couldn't remember the exact scripture, but I went right. I eventually went right to it. I said, here it is, right here. I said, look at it. There it is. Boy, she read that scripture. She looked at me and was like, well, you're right. I didn't know it said that. You know, I've been a Christian my whole life, and I just never heard that. Now, if there are people complaining, especially in the black church, about black men not showing up to the church, but you ain't reading these types of scriptures, could that be a reason why men aren't showing up? Because the church has actually skewed itself to actually covering the whores in the church instead of actually making sure that the women in the church are qualified for the men that you want to be in the church. And I'm just speaking on the black church type thing. I'm not talking about anybody else, any other religion, but I'm saying since most black people are Christian in America, if you want a better result, shouldn't you identify and separate the females from the church who are corrupting the actual church body itself with their ways?
I want to say this, and this is my opinion, right? So don't work on that ass. This is not the opinion of the Roger Report. So, ladies who are Christian, number one, I hate to say this, but Christianity is like Old English of 40 to an alcoholic, right? Because where else in the world can you go and be forgiven for the bullshit you did last night, right? Because that's what the church going to tell you the next day, right? You forgiven. Now, let me also say this. If you want black men back in the church, how about read the Bible? Because right now, if you want the Bible read, the last place you need to go is the church, the black church. Let me just say that. Now, for all the brothers out there, because they're going to give you this. They're going to say, Jesus forgave the whore. No, he did not. Let me break it down to you right now really quickly. So the pastors was like, well, we don't believe he's the son of God, so let's trip him up. So they brought the whore to him, and they said, this woman was caught being an adulteress. Jesus wrote something in the sand. Now, the law says, if a woman is caught in adultery, this is in Leviticus, let the adulterer and adulteress both be stoned. And it is also in Deuteronomy 22. Both he who slept with another man's wife and the woman both be stoned. So if Christ had said, stone her, then the Pharisees would have said, "You're not the Son of God," because the law say both have to be stoned, not one, but both. So he wrote in the sand where the nigga at, because without the nigga, he can't both be stoned. So the next time Tatiana come to you and be like, Jesus loved the hoes, no. They were trying to get Jesus caught up, right? It was the ops trying to get Jesus caught up on a technicality to show that you weren't the Son of God. That's what that whole thing was about. Proving whether or not you were a son of God. Not about we loving hoes over here.
And I gotta say, real talk, as a person who dealt with that scripture not too long ago, that makes perfect sense what you said about what Jesus wrote. Because I was trying to figure out what did that man really write right there. But that makes perfect sense.
You know,
He wrote
here's the thing.
I
It's
forgot.
interesting.
Leviticus.
What I was about to say.
Hold on, champ.
It's in Leviticus. It's in two places, Leviticus, and then it's for sure in Deuteronomy chapter 22 and 22. Because the whole theme of that was like, we don't believe you're the Son of God, so we're about to get you caught up. And so that's what Christ wrote. Where's the nigga at? In the sand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said he probably worded it better, but it makes sense.
But here's the thing. Here's what I was about to say right here. Is that a lot of these ladies can use the Bible and get away with it because some of the pastors, are screwing them and everything else. And these pastors will go up there quoting scriptures and everything else while doing dirt with other women, behind closed doors and getting away with it. I don't need to mention the one pastor right now that's doing that.
No, don't mention that. We don't need to.
I'm not gonna mention it, but he's sitting up there, going up there, being a quote unquote leader of our community and everything else, and letting these ladies getting away with their behavior and everything else, and basically the church in some ways is being turned to a place where simps, are just prostrating to just bowing down to women, even pastors now.
Well, now I'm gonna say this as a person who accepts being a Christian. At the end of the day, the church ain't the problem. If they not teaching from the Bible, that's your first indicator that they ain't the church. That's what a lot of people leave out. If you're not teaching from the Bible, you ain't the church. The church has to teach from the Bible because the church is supposed to be trying to be more like Jesus. And if you don't have no goal to be more like Jesus, you ain't the church. It is what it is. You may call yourself the church, but you ain't the church. The church actually goes into that Bible and learn the lessons from that Bible. And it's folks nowadays, they'll preach a sermon for 30, 40 minutes and never even pick the Bible up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Roger, it's not just that too, though, because modern church, it's farcical because they'll sit there and tell you to just completely ignore the Old Testament, and it's like, how you gonna ignore the part of the scripture that where the law is? I mean, Jesus said, "I came to fulfill the law unto Moses."
Well, no, I'm not.
So what I'm saying is, it's like if you got the law that's in the Old Testament and you got people preaching, this is why Hassel said what he said. If you got people that's saying, well, as long as I say I believe, but I don't have to actually demonstrate, because I don't have to listen to the Old Testament. I don't have to feel the shame of the law being imposed upon me. I don't even have to listen to it. I don't even have to read it. I don't even have to listen to that. Because if you're saying, well, Jesus, his position came to basically cover up all of the sins that came before, then what you're basically saying is, man, shit, I can go out here and do what the hell I want to do. Because I don't have to adhere to the law. And the authority is where the law is where man's authority comes from. So if you can't even enforce the law, if you can't, because that's really what the issue is as it relates to our group. as it relates to all this whole stuff and all this horse behavior, what it really comes down to is, do you have the authority to enforce the discipline and the consequences on these types of females who are, and let's be clear, whores do corrupt other innocent, naive females into that lifestyle. That is the truth. That is a fact. And if you can't even enforce the law that's supposed to come from a higher position onto the females in your group, man, that's a recipe for disaster.
I do totally get that, and that's why I'm saying the issue is people don't recognize with the church, just like what what's his name, salt don't work was saying. He was talking about the Pharisees. The Pharisees were not part of the church. They were in the position to quote unquote be looked at as the church, but they weren't the church. They had an issue with Jesus himself. They didn't want no son of man. They didn't want stuff to be fulfilled. And what they saw was a man fulfilling prophecies, and they don't want him to be that guy. They literally were in direct opposition to Jesus. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Hold on, this is what I'm saying. She brought that up because it was a Pharisees move. You know, we got to learn the difference between the Pharisees and the church. That's what I'm saying. The church ain't got no issue with the Bible. The Pharisees have a huge issue with the Bible.
So I think, but the thing we need to make sure we understand is this, right? Like, if you don't know the law, then you're going to go around saying that Jesus is cool with adultery and he'll forgive adultery. If you do know the law, then you know, okay, that had nothing to do with adultery at all. And so I think that's the thing when it comes to the church. The messaging, like Jesus is up here hanging out with the drug dealers and the pimps and the hoes. And no, you have to come clean. No, so, I mean, but that's neither here nor there because this is not about.
Yeah, and my thing is, I do agree with that, but my whole point is, you got to read it for yourself.
Right.
That's why I say study to show yourself approved.
Right.
You can't just get off, on whatever everybody else said. And I'm saying the reason she used that, she pulled it out because she didn't expect Paul Pierce to know how to correct it in any kind of way. And that's kind of what happened. She threw it out there and it went right past them.
Right. So, and that's the whole point of that, right? Yeah. That's just the point of that. It's just to let our fellow brothers know that they're going to always try to use God for you to accept their whoredom. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right?
Right.
They're gonna use God to say salt works on that putang, and it don't.
Yeah, and all I'm trying to say is recognize what the church is, because the church ain't what people claim it is. The church is what the Bible say it is, which is two totally different things for the most part, especially in the large sections of the Black community. Because I done been to fake churches, y'all. I done been to them. I'm a person who done been to a church a lot of times. So I have went to these places where ain't no God there, but I didn't pretend it was. A lot of times I just get up and leave, and why you going? Because God ain't got nothing to do with this place, and people get offended. And my thing is, hey, if you offended, that's your problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me. So I came to hear God's word, and y'all ain't got it here, so I'm gonna go somewhere else. It's that simple at the end of the day. Now, but when it comes back to this whole thing, Dr. Bryant was trying to use the Bible to get over and get past people, because it's really about women like her. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, she old. You have to accept old ladies gonna lie. Their backs are against the wall. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing. People are attacking her for the position she took. If you listen to any of the things she's been saying, what would make you think she wasn't dating multiple men? Right. She old. She ain't got no husband. She come off like she holier than thou. She blaming everything on men, even things men don't control. And even when Paul Pierce said directly to her, well, women ask for divorce more than anything. And she tried to put that off on somehow that's the man's fault that the woman asked for a divorce. She say the same regular lies that people tell you. Well, it's a financial issue. Divorce is never a financial issue. The woman know how much he make before she married him. She knows how much she make when she's married to him. She know how much she makes after she's married to him. It's never finances. But if you don't know no better, you can say, well, if people don't know no better, you can throw that stuff out there and it just gets past them. Her whole thing was to make excuses for women in her position. But at the end of the day, how can you look at her and don't think she ain't doing that?
Well, like she said, she dating them young, right? She like them young, right? And I can't and see, that's the thing, right? See, man, look, that Jada Pinkett Smith spirit is on her, man. You know, she like them what, barely legal, right?
Hold on, but hold on. If you look at the psychologist, I think her name is Helen Smith, that wrote Men on Strike.
Mm-hmm.
She literally is taking the opposite, diametrically opposing position of what this female is talking about, and she's a white woman. She's in Men on Strike. She was like men shouldn't. If these laws ain't gonna change, it is not in the best interest of men to get married, especially under the state. Like, it's not in their best interest. So while she's sitting up here talking about, well, it ain't no men, up here to marry, or because basically females like her are basically saying, like, after I lived that whole life, that freaking life, I should be able to find the best man on the market in our group. Like,
right.
And this white woman is like, nah, fellas, don't do it.
Well,
so
I mean, but
both of them are psychologists. So now when you meet two of the same profession, one is saying the complete opposite of what the other is saying. Like, literally wrote a book about it. Like,
but you gotta look at, but you gotta understand, right? Well, of course you do understand is that Black women have a deep hatred for Black men. So that's where the source of that's coming from, right? Like,
sources do matter from time to time. Sources do matter,
right? A nigga ain't gonna run me. Like I mean, look at Michelle Obama, right? She a nigga ain't gonna run her.
I don't know what it is about Michelle Obama that you so focused in on her.
Because her husband
that's the highest level of fuckery, bro. That's first lady fuckery, bro. That's first lady fuckery, bro.
Yeah.
That's a whole different level.
I have never heard Barbara Bush or Tipper Gore ever say that their husband cannot touch the thermostat.
Right.
This woman, and I'm using the term very, very loosely, extremely loosely, this woman has got up here and said that if Obama touched this, it is hell to pay. And up here saying she's a single mother, knowing how that resonate on a racial image level, and told Julia Roberts that she can't stand her husband. And Julia Roberts is more successful than her husband, and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure did.
Brother, I'm just messing with you. I know who Michelle Obama is, and I know she represents, so I'm just messing with you.
Well, this woman
it's one thing to do it. Well, I'm just saying, it's one thing to be that way, and you married to the gas station clerk. It's a whole other thing to be married to the actual president of the United States and get on that same type of time. That's a whole different thing.
Her existence, her existing like this, gives the women the green light that says, I don't care what your nigga got. He wasn't president of the United States, so feel free to have babies on him. Feel free to disrespect them. And feel free
push him out a window.
Yeah.
Or poison him.
I totally get you. And she is more proof that, and this is what Black men really got to understand. It ain't about what you make. It's not about your money. It's not about your status. It ain't about your job. It ain't about none of the stuff they talking about. Because they say all this stuff, you need to do this and you need to make this amount, and blah, blah, it ain't got nothing to do with that. She just don't deal with you like that, period. So therefore, you're not going to get a good response. And most of them, when they're even giving us what we believe are good responses, usually they're just trying to misuse us at the end of the day, which is why you have people who even get in short marriages. A short marriage is proof that a woman was able to successfully misuse a man.
And I just want to say one more thing. I got to get this off my chest. I'm sorry. This woman sat on a podcast across from a white man and said that I'm physically attracted to you and I wish I was with you. And look, man, y'all remember that scene in Training Day when he said King Kong ain't got nothing on me? Newsflash, baby. Satan himself ain't got shit on Obama or Michelle.
Yeah, that I didn't even see that, but that's just, I can't say she didn't do it, and just knowing the stuff I did see from her, so I definitely believe she did it.
It's on her podcast.
No, I believe you. I definitely believe you. You know,
Satan. Look, whoever said hell is nothing like a woman scorn had to meet Michelle. Had to know Michelle.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say Michelle is in a little bit of a different thing, because as I'm covering this whole thing about this particular lady, I am defending her because it didn't make sense to listen to in the first place. When she came out and said, "Look, y'all, I'm in my 40s and I ain't never been married," everybody was supposed to simultaneously just kind of turn it off at the end of the day. That's what was supposed to happen. We are supposed to be sane people.
Mm-hmm.
A woman saying that she can help another man and another woman address their problems so they can be in a good relationship, who's never got a man to marry her, sounds crazy. Because men determine who can be a wife.
Right.
Nobody says she could be one. How's she gonna help me be something no guy want her to be?
Facts. Facts.
It just is what it is, y'all. It just is what it is. So my thing is, in her defense, you shouldn't have been listening in the first place. Now, I ain't gonna never tell y'all who to listen to. That's just not me. People do what they want to do. It is what it is. I always blame an audience member before I blame the person teaching the subject, because you was crazy enough to accept it. We all believe what we want to. You know?
True.
But the problem is that when you start, I mean, obviously this stuff is stupid and goofy and it makes no sense. But when you start taking it to the political level of things and you start codifying this into your platform and you start speaking to potential male, black male voters with this disdain, you're politicizing and you're incorporating disdain for black men in your political platform, and then you wonder why, especially when you put some fake black dummy up in dudes' faces, why they don't vote for it. It's like I mean, at a certain point, man, dudes will wake up. I mean, because in order to get this stuff off, you have to have a high level of propaganda that you can push in men. So elementary, middle school, high school, college, TV. I mean, that's a heavy ass apparatus, man, in terms of images, man, that you get men to just buy into something. You know what I'm saying? And so, but at a certain point, man, men will wake up and like, yo, man, what's going on with this nonsense? And that's why you saw the numbers in terms of the politics shift towards Trump and the politics. And so, again, man, these types of females, man, they are here to run the interference. Because, I mean, what else are they going to do? Are they going to just go to their cottage and, at 40 and, knit and just say, I'm just going to resign my life to just, I failed, and I'm just going to sit here and just eat, sip tea and crumpets and just ride it on out? Or am I going to try to have some kind of validation? And because this is validation for them, it's a twisted, toxic form of validation, but they're getting a certain level of validation being featured on these types of podcasts. And even if it's from a negative perspective, that's enough for females, because when females are corrupt, they have a negative orientation from the beginning. Even females who aren't corrupt like that, they'll skew more negative, because in a lot of ways, I had to learn that a lot of females' notion about people come from them seeing other females be on that bullshit. So in their mind, they think like everybody is like that. Well, this chick is over here like this, and she they'll literally use their experiences with other females. Because I've noticed throughout the years, I was seeing women say a lot of times you know, they were talking, I just want a man that just accepts me for me, who I am as a person, and such and such, such. And it wasn't necessarily a chick that was off the rocker. You know what I'm saying? And you like, why y'all keep saying this? But it's because in their world, there is a lot of judgment that females deal with from each other. You ain't gonna find nobody more judgmental towards another female than another woman. Like, you're not gonna find that, whether they're girls and then whether they come to the adult world. So a lot of times, a lot of females do a lot of silly do females really think men want fake out spider eyelashes and all this weave and all, you know what I'm saying, all this fake up on their face and contacts? Do they really think men want that? No, like, but they do it to get the approval of females, not men.
Absolutely, because when the guy ain't black, they seem to all of a sudden know exactly what men want and don't seem to need all that stuff. And I do get it, because I want the NBA to accept me for who I am.
but we got to understand something. Why is this being put?
Let me just make this point. I want the NBA to accept me for who I am. I want a $250 million contract. And I'm going to come out there and I'm going to do my best. I don't want to be judged. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, I probably play a point guard. I don't want you to judge me by the assists. If I can only get 1.4 assists a game, I don't want you to judge me by that. I don't want you judging me over the fact that I can't score, that my average is 0.4 points a game.
No, the fact that you're in your mid-40s, the fact that you're in your mid-40s and going for a basketball tryout, they're gonna look at you like you crazy.
So like children without guardians is a financial blight on the system. And another financial blight, which people don't really want to talk about, but it's true, is elderly single women. They're also a financial blight because they don't put enough into the system to receive the medical care, Medicaid, and things like that. So one of the things that the government needs to happen and start pushing is that somebody got to marry these 40-year-old women, because when they get 60, that's going to be a huge financial blight. I mean, our aging population has all types of issues. When it comes to public services and taxes, right? It's economically devastating. So that's why you have these women out here in their 40s talking about, this is the best part of my life. Because I mean, at the end of the day, America has to get these hoes married off, or it's going to be up to the state.
Well,
yeah, they're trying to find some sucker. They're trying to find some sucker for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, an elderly woman and children without guardians are the same. It's the same shit. It's a heavy financial burden.
Well, we've done the half hour OT, so I'm finna close it out, and I'm gonna say, if that's what America thought, America should have thought about that before we got to this position. It is what it is, man. You know who don't cost money? Dead people. If they can't feed themselves and they starve, they gonna die. Now, I understand that sounds rough, but dead people don't come with bills. You get the last bill in, and it's over with. So it'll be fine if you ask me, as long as you let people handle their own stuff. Okay, as long as you handle their own stuff. Because again, y'all, I want to be an NBA point guard, and I don't want people to judge me about it. So what if I can't really score but 0.04 points a game or whatever? Okay, leave me alone.
Uncle Sam is white, so they'll be happy anyway, right? Uncle Sam is white.
But let me get up out of here. Y'all have a good rest of your day. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Everybody hit the like button. If you ain't already hit it yet, hit the like button. We do this 9 a.m. Central Time. That's Chicago time, not where you happen to be. You could be in Boston, but we're doing it in Chicago time. So 9 a.m. Well, that could fall. I don't really know people's time zones like that. I just be throwing out city names, y'all. But 9 a.m. Chicago time. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.